The great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 601, Heaven and Earth are unkind. If the sword hits the body, Yunfan's speed is much faster than that of the Great Eagle Knight. The power of chaos is fully running, and the strange domain emanating from Yunfan's body forms a colorful light ball around his body like a substance. Everything happened very quickly, in a flash. The shadow of death instantly enveloped the Great Eagle Knight. A dazzling light burst out from the collision between the two, and the deafening sound of iron and steel resounded around at the same time. The long sword with Yunfan's power of chaos burst out with colorful light, and when it met the elemental power on the spear, the Great Eagle Knight's tightly grasped spear was knocked away on the spot by the violent force. An inexplicable sense of vicissitudes instantly spread to the whole body of the Great Eagle Knight. He couldn't help but shrugged. Before he could react, the power of chaos condensed by Yunfan attacked again. In just a moment, the right arm of the Great Eagle warrior who had just held the spear suddenly felt a huge force. Blood was flying. A sword cut off his arm. "You shouldn't provoke me." Yunfan stood face to face with the terrified Eagle Knight with a cold face. After saying this, he swung the long sword in his hand fiercely, cut off the eagle's steel claws alive, and then split ocean again, killing the eagle warrior and the eagle instantly. The blood shot out like a heavy rain and fell into the woods. The two Eagle Knights were easily killed by Yunfan. Yunfan felt no sadness or joy in his heart, just like a normal thing. At this time, Yunfan was startled in his heart and suddenly reacted. He seemed to be getting more and more cold-blooded. Killing the Eagle Knight is like killing an ant. Heaven and earth are not kind and treat all things as straw dogs. His current strength is equivalent to the disguised 10th level, which is what people usually call the semi-god realm. After reaching this realm, Yunfan can be regarded as touching the realm of God. Yunfan in this realm has a tyrannical strength, but he will also lose himself. Fortunately, Yunfan has not yet entered the realm of true gods, and he can still control his thoughts and desires. Once Yunfan reaches the realm of true gods, it will be more difficult to control his desire to dominate everything. Once someone challenges his authority, he will find ways to get rid of the other party. This is the state of mind of the gods. This is why when Sakadin first met Yunfan, every word was about mortals and ants. With a light breath, Yunfan drove that emotion out of his brain. "I'm a human." Even after becoming a god, there are people who practice to become gods, and it is absolutely impossible to become a god like a walking corpse. The practice of becoming a god is really very dangerous and very perverted, but today's exciting fight makes Yunfan feel very happy, and the whole person has a brand new feeling. Yunfan turned around suddenly and knocked the last big Eagle Knight to the ground. "Tell me whose order you took us away," Yunfan said indifferently. "Boy, don't think you are so powerful. Do you know that you have offended someone you shouldn't have offended? If you let me go, I will say something good to the master." The last Eagle Knight was extremely pale. He wanted to persuade Yunfan to let him go. Yunfan naturally didn't buy his tricks. He interrupted him before he finished speaking. "You don't seem to recognize the current situation. You are my captive now, and I'm asking you, who sent you to capture me? If I tell you who sent us, can you let me go?" The last Eagle Knight tried to win a chance of survival for himself. "Do you still have a choice now? Don't force me to torture you. When I torture you, you will know what it means to be worse than death." Yunfan said in a flat tone, "If you tell me obediently, I will give you a quick death." After hearing Yunfan's words, the last Eagle Knight's face became very ugly. He didn't expect Yunfan to be so hard-hearted at such a young age. "Since you want to know, I will tell you. We accepted the order from the War Hunter King Harrington Osvid to capture you and this little girl." The last Eagle Knight no longer resisted, but said frankly, "Even if you kill me, the War Hunter King Harrington Osvid will definitely send more powerful people." War Hunter King Harrington Osvid? He and I don't seem to have any intersection. Why did he send people to capture us? Lord War Hunter King Harrington Osvid has a grandson named Drinks, who was murdered some time ago. Lord War Hunter King Harrington Osvid got the news that Reinks was with Jack before he died, and then Jack appeared beside you, so he suspected that you killed Reinks. Originally I thought this was absolutely impossible, but after fighting with you, I found that you really have the ability to kill Reinks. I didn't expect it was because of him. Yunfan said with a frown slightly. Did you really kill Reinks? The last Great Eagle Knight judged from Yunfan's tone. This war god hunter King Harrington Osvid is really capable of finding out about me. Yunfan nodded and said, by the way, what is the strength of this Harrington Osvid? War god hunter King Harrington Osvid had already broken through to level 10 years ago. He is the most powerful existence on the continent. Even if you kill me, what can you do? Soon you will be killed by war god hunter King Harrington Osvid. Are you so sure that he can beat me? Yunfan said with a smile. At your age, although your strength is tyrannical, you can only reach level 9 at most. War god hunter King Harrington Osvid is a dignified level 10 master. It is not easy to kill you. Is it easy to kill me? Anyway, you won't know. Yunfan said, and waved the long sword in his hand. Skeen. After 3 days of traveling overnight, Yunfan and Sophia arrived at Skan, the headquarters of the Justice Dragon Temple. Skan is indeed the center of the entire dragon continent. It is much more prosperous than other cities. Anyone you see here is no less than level 5. It really is the center of the dragon continent. Level 5s are as numerous as dogs here, and level 6s are everywhere. Level 7s and 8s dare not call themselves strong. Skan is where His Majesty the Justice Dragon God lives. Chapter 602 Secret. Of course it's different from other places. As soon as Yunfan finished speaking, a man dressed as a dragon hunter responded. From what this elder brother said, it seems that he has seen His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. Of course. Maybe it won't be long before you can see His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. What's going on? Yunfan looked at the man dressed as a dragon hunter with some curiosity. The selection of the Dragon God of Justice Guard will be held in 2 days. It is said that His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice will personally watch the game. The man dressed as a dragon hunter said mysteriously, I heard this from my cousin. You know, my cousin is a reserve member of the Dragon God of Justice Guard. I didn't expect your cousin to be so powerful. Yunfan said flatteringly. Of course, I have watched my cousin grow up since he was a child. His talent is amazing. I also benefited from my cousin's light, otherwise I wouldn't. The man dressed as a dragon hunter seemed to realize that he had said something he shouldn't have said and hurriedly stopped. Otherwise, what would have happened? Yunfan asked with some curiosity. Nothing. Yunfan shook his head and did nothing. Yunfan cast his eyes on Sophia beside him. Yunfan saw that Sophia was a little absent-minded at this time and couldn't help asking with concern, what happened? No. Sophia's eyes were a little evasive. Seeing Sophia's look, Yunfan didn't ask much, but said calmly, if you need any help from me, just tell me, I will definitely help you. Thank you. Sophia looked at Yunfan deeply. What's the matter with this little girl? On the way here, I found that something was wrong with him. Has he been here before? Forget these things, and don't think about them for now. If there is really something, it won't be too late to help her. The two went to the Temple of Justice Dragon to log in the information first, and then they were taken to a residence by the people of the Temple of Justice Dragon to let them stay temporarily. Looking at the surrounding environment, it was quite elegant. Yunfan nodded with satisfaction. Night had already fallen. Yunfan and his companions did not go out to hunt dragons as usual. They planned to have a good rest to prepare for the selection competition on the second day. Of course, Yunfan did not take the selection competition seriously at all. Staring blankly at the girl who appeared on the window edge like a ghost, Yunfan murmured in surprise after a while, what is she going to do? I found that Sophia was a little abnormal when she came here. Looking at this situation, your little lover seems to be hiding a lot of things from you. Sakadan laughed inexplicably. Yunfan frowned slightly and completely shrank his body into the shadows. Then he hesitated. It seems that the little girl's strength has improved a lot. Looking at her current speed, I'm afraid she will not be weaker than a level 6 master, right? Her real strength has indeed improved a lot, but now she has obviously used a secret method to improve her strength within a period of time. I'm afraid this little girl's life experience is not simple. Sakuden smiled faintly. Hearing this, Yunfan was slightly stunned, and then shook his head bitterly. To be honest, he had already discovered that Sophia, this little girl, might have a secret. He was a little curious about Sophia's mysterious origin. He looked through the shade of the tree in front of him, and stared at the figure, wanting to see what she wanted to do. Sophia hid and came to a courtyard far away from the suburbs, and then climbed over the wall into the courtyard. What is this little girl doing here secretly? Yunfan was getting more and more curious. Sophia climbed over the wall and appeared in the courtyard. I also noticed that Yunfan was following her. At this time, a guy who was overwhelmed. Hearing the voice coming from the room, Sophia couldn't help but frown slightly, her expression full of disgust, and she clenched her fist fiercely and then put her fist down. Who is in the room? What does Sophia want to do here? Yunfan had questions one after another in his mind. At a certain moment, the man's hand that was pulling Orange's clothes suddenly stopped. As a level 6 expert, he also found something abnormal. He frowned slightly, as if thinking about something. After hesitating for a moment, he directly put on the clothes beside him, then stood up from the bed and looked out through the window. What's wrong, Dick? The beautiful figure lying on the bed also frowned and asked. Just now I seemed to feel a murderous aura. The man said uncertainly. Are you hallucinating? This is Scan. Even the anti-race hunter king dare not act rashly here. The beautiful figure lying on the bed showed a hint of mockery on her face. Yes, who dares to act rashly here? That person must not want to live. The man also laughed mockingly. It seems that I'm becoming more and more suspicious. The girl in black nightgown hid herself in the darkness with the help of the shade of the tree. A pair of eyes with some red flames stared at the disheveled man in the room with hatred. Who is that man? Why does Sophia hate him so much? The little girl is really a person with a story. Sakuden sighed. At this time, the red light on Sophia's hand was like an elf, jumping with a strange trajectory. Feeling the elemental fluctuations coming from outside, the man in the room was slightly stunned and couldn't help looking outside. He happened to see Sophia, who activated the emblem. Seeing the man's slowly moving eyes, he stayed on the indifferent and beautiful face. In his pupils, a kind of greed emerged unconsciously. Even though the atmosphere was not right at the moment, facing the flawless appearance, the man still couldn't help but be a little absent-minded. However, after a moment of distraction, the man quickly pulled out a long sword from his side, and while holding the long sword, he activated his emblem and quickly moved his body like an arrow from a string and quickly jumped out. In this weird atmosphere, a cold feeling of approaching death finally extinguished his other thoughts. Little girl, this is a private residence. It is wrong for you to barge in casually. Chapter 603 Mitchell's Dick. At this time, the strangely appeared red-haired girl, who had already activated the emblem, could not possibly come to chat with her. Mitchell's Dick. Sophia said coldly. After hearing the girl read out her name, the man Mitchell's Dick became very serious. The other party actually knew his name, so the girl's target was indeed himself. He just didn't know why she was looking for him. It seemed that she was going to harm him. My name is Sophia Sandora. Sophia said coldly. After hearing Sophia's self-introduction, Mitchell's Dick was stunned for a moment, and then seemed to think of something and became terrified. Who is Rossetti Sandora to you? He is my father. Sophia said with gritted teeth. Mitchell's Dick was startled at first, and then a cold light flashed in his eyes. You shouldn't have come. Looking at Sophia, who was close at hand, he took out his weapon and slashed. The blue light instantly killed Sophia and went straight to her life. After this period of improvement, Sophia was no longer comparable to the past. The long sword in her hand burst into red flames. Bang! A crisp sound. Die. Sophia raised her head and let out a crazy howl. I will definitely cut you down with my sword. She immediately stood up and turned into a phantom and walked through the night. Sophia was like a phantom, approaching Mitchell's Dick in an instant. Sophia stretched out her hand and stabbed, and a heat wave rushed into the sky. What? Mitchell's Dick looked at Sophia in astonishment. How can you be so fast? Sophia was holding a long sword, and her eyes showed madness. Come and die. Suddenly, a sharp voice with great anger came from Sophia's mouth. We can't let her leave alive. Mitchell Syndick's face showed a fierce look. He didn't expect Sophia to be so powerful at such a young age. If he gave her some more time, I'm afraid there was also the incident that happened that year. Kill her. Kill this little girl at all costs. Mitchell Syndick made up his mind and rushed towards Sophia frantically. Sophia sacrificed her emblem wings and flew away from the earth in an instant. At the same time, endless hot flames descended in an instant. A large amount of flames surrounded Mitchell Syndick and began to burn, causing Mitchell Syndick to scream miserably. This pair of wings of fire was seized by Yunfan when he killed the Dragon God of Justice some time ago and later gave it to Sophia. Mitchell Syndick's eyes were full of murderous intent, and he immediately turned into a stream of light to meet Sophia. Wings of fire. At the same time, Mitchell Syndick's eyes flashed with greed. With a flash of fire, Mitchell Syndick rolled over and fell to the ground, holding his chest and twitching, and the blood also stained the ground red. Mitchell Syndick didn't expect that he would be defeated in just one encounter. Damn little girl. Mitchell Syndick shouted angrily, and a flash of fire slashed directly at him, frightening him so much that his face changed drastically, and he retreated violently. Mitchell Syndick was scared. If he continued to entangle like this, there would only be one result waiting for him, and it would probably be death. Emblematic armor. As Mitchell Syndick spoke, a blue armor soon appeared on his body. A hint of joy flashed in Mitchell Syndick's eyes. This blue armor was his reliance. Even an 8th level master might not be able to break the defense for a while. You shouldn't have appeared. Isn't it good to live an ordinary life? Why do you choose to find the Silk Road? When facing Mitchell Syndick again, Sophia failed to break Mitchell Syndick's defense this time. Mitchell Syndick relied on his amazing defense to put pressure on Sophia. However, just when Mitchell Syndick was about to capture Sophia, he felt a violent impact from the side. His fast-running body suddenly fell down, and his face hit the ground hard. Several teeth were spit out by Mitchell Syndick along with blood. He lowered his head with fear on his face, and saw a figure appeared not far away. He felt his blood boiling, and his internal organs had been severely damaged. No. Who are you? Why do you want to kill me too? Mitchell Syndick's face was filled with endless panic. Come on. Someone wants to assassinate me. The severe pain on his body almost made Mitchell Syndick faint, but at this time, he gritted his teeth and resisted, opening his mouth and shouting desperately. Don't shout. The whole yard is covered by my domain. Nothing can be transmitted. No one can hear. A figure in the darkness said lightly, and a colorful sword condensed at the fingertips. Who are you? What do you want to do? What do you want? Weapons? Women? Or, in short, whatever you want, I will give you everything. Just let me go. Looking at the figure in the dark in horror, Mitchell Syndick's face was pale, and the threat of death made him compromise directly. Glancing indifferently at Mitchell Syndick who was struggling on the ground, Yunfan shook his head. Girl, is there anything you can't tell me? Why do you come here alone? If I hadn't followed you this time, not only would you not be able to take revenge, you might also leave yourself here. Do you know each other? Are you together? Mitchell Syndick said palely. Thank you. I will explain it to you clearly. Sophia gave Yunfan an apologetic look, and then walked indifferently towards Mitchell Syndick who was wailing on the ground. When she walked in front of him, she stopped and lowered her head. The indifference on her face made Mitchell Syndick's heart tighten. Haven't you always wanted someone to catch me all these years? And what happened back then? Squatting down slowly, Sophia's light voice contained a hint of coldness. Mitchell Syndick swallowed his saliva involuntarily, and cold sweat ran down his face, because the incident back then involved a big shot. He didn't dare to say it. But, tell me the truth. Looking at Mitchell Syndick with a face full of fear, Sophia took a breath. A complex look flashed across Mitchell Syndick's eyes. Leave it to me. Yunfan knew that Sophia was not suitable for interrogation. Go ahead, tell me everything you know. Yunfan said in a cold tone. A ball of black and dark power with decay appeared in his palm. The decayed power suddenly flew out of his hand and finally turned into a black. Chapter 604 Assassination. Corroded by the dark power, Mitchell Syndick's pupils suddenly shrank and his pale face became even uglier. His slightly protruding eyeballs looked extremely terrifying, as ferocious as a demon. "Tell me everything you know, and I can give you a quick death." "It's Steve." Before Mitchell's Dick could tell what he knew, a strange aura appeared on his body, and then Mitchell's Dick exploded. Glancing at the bloody corpse with disgust, Yunfan stood up, sighed lightly, a hint of helplessness flashed across his face, and he murmured in a low voice, "I didn't expect that person to be so cruel. I'm afraid that, once that person's name is mentioned, he will be silenced." Shaking his head lightly, Yunfan glanced casually around the room, moved slightly, and appeared in the room, and said indifferently to the disheveled woman, "Do you think I should cut the grass and root it out? My lord, I was forcibly abducted by Mitchell's Dick. He killed my husband. I have no hope of forgiving him." The woman pretended to look pitiful. Seeing this, Yunfan felt a little embarrassed. Just when Yunfan was considering whether to let the woman go, the woman suddenly took out a dagger from the bed and stabbed Yunfan at high speed. "Be careful," Sophia reminded him hurriedly. Yunfan saw the woman's cold smile and felt the strong penetrating power of the dagger. He shook his head. If it was someone else, even a 9th level master, who was hit by such a blow without any preparation, he would be seriously injured, even if he didn't die. However, Yunfan was an exception. His body had reached the level of a lower level artifact, and it was not easy for an artifact to hurt him. Dang, the dagger stabbed into Yunfan's body, making a crisp sound. Yunfan gently waved his hand to grab the opponent's wrist and twisted the opponent's hand to dislocate it. "Ah!" the woman screamed. "I was thinking about how to treat you, but now you have made the choice for me. Sir, spare my life. Die." The 5-colored sword flashed across the woman's neck in an instant. The woman's pupils shrank. She was extremely horrified. She never thought that she would be killed like this. At this moment, Yunfan suddenly felt that someone else had entered the perfect world, and he couldn't help but frown slightly. Sophia saw Yunfan's expression and asked, "What's wrong?" "Someone else is coming. Let's leave here quickly," Yunfan said. Yunfan's words had just fallen, and several guys wearing the Justice Dragon guards had already arrived in the courtyard. "Who are you, and why are you here? Why is there a barrier here?" The Justice Dragon guard saw Sophia in black, and said in a deep voice. Fortunately, Sophia had covered her face with a black veil at this time. "Let's go." Yunfan instantly returned to Sophia's side and directly covered his figure with dark element. "There's something wrong with them." All the Justice Dragon guards present drew their weapons and went to capture Yunfan and the others. Yunfan waved his hand lightly, tore the space apart, and left with Sophia from the crack. Damn it. They actually dared to kill people under the feet of His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. They are simply lawless. These two people are definitely rebellious. Yunfan's escape with Sophia provoked the nerves of the Justice Dragon guards, making them extremely angry. Wait a minute, the user of dark power can tear the space apart. This seems to be the same as the description of the guy in the arrest document issued by His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. Could it be? Damn it. Go back quickly and report to His Majesty. The next day, early in the morning, in a side hall of the Justice Temple, the face of the Justice Dragon God's great protector at this time was gloomy and a little scary. A trace of cold breath emanated from his body, frightening the Justice Dragon guard kneeling on the ground to tremble. He glanced at the faces of several people with a cold gaze, and said in a cold voice, "You said that person appeared in Skarn?" "Yes, Lord Protector, we saw with our own eyes that person tearing the space and escaping." The Justice Dragon guard said tremblingly, "If it wasn't for the tearing of the space, that person would definitely not have escaped. What is the identity of the dead man? Check it out for me, and see who has the motive to kill him." The corners of the Guardian's eyes jumped quickly, and he was in a very complicated mood. He took a deep breath, and ignored his trembling subordinates. He slowly walked around the corners of the room and said coldly, "By the way, don't tell anyone else about this." "Yes, Lord." Hearing the order of the Guardian, the Justice Dragon guard hurriedly responded. When Yunfan and Sophia woke up from their deep sleep, it was almost dawn. The warm sunlight shone in from the gaps in the window, and at the same time, it also illuminated the room quite brightly, and illuminated the entire room. Ji Yunfan stretched himself, sat up with sleepy eyes, got off the bed lazily, and then washed up casually. Just after washing up, there was a light knock on the door. Ji Yunfan, are you up? Hearing this voice, Ji Yunfan was slightly stunned, quickly wiped the water stains on his face, and opened the door directly. The door opened, and Sophia was standing at the door. Sophia took off her red dress, and put on an elegant lily skirt. The decent clothes matched with the fresh temperament made Ji Yunfan's eyes light up. I want to talk to you. Come in. Sophia glanced at Ji Yunfan and quickly dodged, as if she was afraid to look Ji Yunfan in the face. My family was originally in Skan, and my father was once a captain of the Justice Dragon Guard. Once my father took his team to perform a very secret mission. At that time, my father seemed to have discovered something. He said to me that, if he couldn't come back, let me take my sister away from here. Just as my father expected, he never came back after he left. Except for Michael Sindic, no one else in my father's team came back. I will never forget Michael Sindic, that bastard. He said that my father was a traitor. What kind of secret is there? Ji Yunfan frowned as he listened to Sophia's words. Michael Sindic died instantly because he wanted to say that person's name. There must be a secret that cannot be told. Father is absolutely impossible to be a traitor. Father is a loyal warrior of His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. I must find out what happened that year and vindicate my father. Sophia said firmly. Chapter 605 Secret. I blocked the paragraph. Please modify it. Of course it's different from other places. As soon as Ji Yunfan finished speaking, a man dressed as a dragon hunter responded. From what this elder brother said, it seems that he has seen His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. Of course. Maybe it won't be long before you can see His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. What's going on? Ji Yunfan looked at the man dressed as a dragon hunter with some curiosity. The selection of the Dragon God of Justice Guard will be held in 2 days. It is said that His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice will personally watch the game. The man dressed as a dragon hunter said mysteriously. I heard this from my cousin. You know, my cousin is a reserve member of the Dragon God of Justice Guard. I didn't expect your cousin to be so powerful. Ji Yunfan said flatteringly. Of course, I have watched my cousin grow up since he was a child. His talent is amazing. I also benefited from my cousin's light, otherwise I wouldn't. The man dressed as a dragon hunter seemed to realize that he had said something he shouldn't have said and hurriedly stopped. Otherwise, what would have happened? Ji Yunfan asked with some curiosity. Nothing. Ji Yunfan shook his head and did nothing. Ji Yunfan cast his eyes on Sophia beside him. Ji Yunfan saw that Sophia was a little absent-minded at this time and couldn't help asking with concern. What happened? No. Sophia's eyes were a little evasive. Seeing Sophia's look, Ji Yunfan didn't ask much, but said calmly, if you need any help from me, just tell me. I will definitely help you. Thank you. Sophia looked at Ji Yunfan deeply. What's the matter with this little girl? On the way here, I found that something was wrong with him. Has he been here before? Forget these things, and don't think about them for now. If there is really something, it won't be too late to help her. The two went to the Temple of Justice Dragon to log in the information first, and then they were taken to a residence by the people of the Temple of Justice Dragon to let them stay temporarily. Looking at the surrounding environment, it was quite elegant. Ji Yunfan nodded with satisfaction. Night had already fallen. Ji Yunfan and his companions did not go out to hunt dragons as usual. They planned to have a good rest to prepare for the selection competition on the second day. Of course, Ji Yunfan did not take the selection competition seriously at all. Staring blankly at the girl who appeared on the window edge like a ghost, Ji Yunfan murmured in surprise after a while, what is she going to do? I found that Sophia was a little abnormal when she came here. Looking at this situation, your little lover seems to be hiding a lot of things from you. Sakadan laughed inexplicably. Ji Yunfan frowned slightly and completely shrank his body into the shadows. Then he hesitated. It seems that the little girl's strength has improved a lot. Looking at her current speed, I'm afraid she will not be weaker than a level 6 master, right? Her real strength has indeed improved a lot, but now she has obviously used a secret method to improve her strength within a period of time. I'm afraid this little girl's life experience is not simple. Sakuden smiled faintly. Hearing this, Yunfan was slightly stunned and then shook his head bitterly. To be honest, he had already discovered that Sophia, this little girl, might have a secret. He was a little curious about Sophia's mysterious origin. He looked through the shade of the tree in front of him and stared at the figure, wanting to see what she wanted to do. Sophia hid and came to a courtyard far away from the suburbs and then climbed over the wall into the courtyard. What is this little girl doing here secretly? Yunfan was getting more and more curious. Sophia climbed over the wall and appeared in the courtyard. I also noticed that Yunfan followed her. There was a creaking sound in a room. At this time, a guy who was overwhelmed by lust was doing something inappropriate for children. The guy was a little oblivious now. Hearing the sound coming from the room, Sophia couldn't help but frown slightly, her expression full of disgust, and she clenched her fist fiercely and then put her fist down. Who is in the room? What does Sophia want to do here? Yunfan had questions one after another in his mind. At a certain moment, the man's hand that was pulling Orange's clothes suddenly stopped. As a level 6 master, he also found something abnormal. He frowned slightly, as if thinking about something. After hesitating for a moment, he put on the clothes beside him, then stood up from the bed and looked out through the window. What's wrong, Dick? The beautiful figure lying on the bed frowned and asked. Just now I seemed to feel a murderous aura. The man said uncertainly. Are you hallucinating? This is Scan. Even the anti-race hunter king dare not act rashly here. The beautiful figure lying on the bed showed a hint of ridicule on her face. Yes, who dares to act rashly here? That person must not want to live. The man also laughed mockingly. It seems that I'm becoming more and more suspicious. The girl in black nightgown hid herself in the darkness with the help of the shade of the tree. A pair of eyes with some red flames looked at the disheveled man in the room with hatred. Who is that man? Why does Sophia hate him so much? The little girl is really a person with a story. Sakuden sighed. At this time, the red light on Sophia's hand was like an elf, dancing with a strange trajectory. Feeling the elemental fluctuations coming from outside, the man in the room was slightly stunned and couldn't help looking outside. He happened to see Sophia, who activated the emblem. Seeing the man's slowly moving eyes, he stayed on the indifferent and beautiful face. In his pupils, a kind of greed emerged unconsciously. Even though the atmosphere was not right at the moment, facing the flawless appearance, the man still couldn't help but be a little absent-minded. However, after a moment of distraction, the man quickly pulled out a long sword from his side, and while holding the long sword, he activated his emblem and quickly moved his body like an arrow from a string and quickly jumped out. In this weird atmosphere, a cold feeling of approaching death finally extinguished his other thoughts. Little girl, this is a private residence. It is wrong for you to barge in casually. Chapter 606 Trial Tower. So, you went to find Mitchell's Dick to find out what happened back then. Yes, he was the only witness back then, and he was labeled as a traitor back then. But now he's dead, and all the clues are gone. Yunfan's expression changed slightly, as if he had thought of something. Don't worry, we'll find other clues. The streets of Skagen were busier than any other day. From time to time, the Justice Dragon guards would patrol the streets, and anyone with a dark emblem would be given special care. Oh my god, did something happen? I don't know. It looks like it should be pretty serious. It's said that a murder happened last night. Impossible. Who dares to kill someone in Skagen? Wouldn't that mean they don't want to live? It looks like yesterday's incident had a big impact, but fortunately we used dark power to cover up yesterday, so forget it. The dark power can't be used for the time being. Yunfan heard the discussion on the street and shook his head and muttered to himself. Let's go. The official selection will start soon. Yunfan and Sophia quickly rushed to a side hall of the Justice Dragon Temple. Not long after, the person in charge walked out of the Justice Dragon Temple. I'm glad that so many talented people have passed the primary selection and come here. The Justice Dragon Guards are the sharp swords in the hands of His Majesty the Justice Dragon God, maintaining the peace of the entire continent. You are all the hope of the continent. I hope you can all complete the assessment and become the sharp swords in His Majesty's hands. The person in charge spoke a lot, but everyone listened attentively, and the young people had dreams. Maybe they will collapse when they know the truth. Yunfan muttered softly. Okay, now please follow me into the trial tower. Anyone who can enter the 10th floor of the trial tower can become a formal member of the Justice Dragon Guard. If anyone can reach the 15th floor, they can become the deputy captain, the 20th floor the squad leader, the 25th floor the captain, the 30th floor the deacon elder, the 35th floor the protector of the Justice Dragon Guard. As for the 40th floor, they are the bishops, and the 50th floor and above. Haha, you don't have to think about it for your entire life. No one except the Pope can reach it. Oh my god. As long as you pass the trial tower, you can get a position corresponding to the Justice Dragon Guard. This is simply amazing. If I can reach the 15th floor, I will be satisfied. 20th floor squad leader? That's equivalent to a 7th level Herald Warrior, and you're only at level 6 now. Don't be too ambitious. You act like you're so awesome, but maybe you're not as good as me. This trial tower is interesting. Sakuden said suddenly. What? This is a lower level artifact that assists in cultivation. It has its own space inside. All those who enter will be monitored by the owner of the artifact. This is interesting. Think about it. Dragon Ball assessment. There are many hidden dangers here. Sakuden said with a wicked smile. What do you think will happen if the Dragon God of Justice finds out that you took the Dragon Ball away? It is indeed a very troublesome matter. It seems that the level of the emblem must be raised. Yunfan added a few strokes to the emblem in his hand. Soon, Yunfan completed the promotion from the 5th level Emblem Warrior to the 6th level Emblem Warrior. In order to be able to access some core information, Yunfan directly raised the emblem to the peak of the 6th level. This thing really doesn't have much effect. Yunfan shook his head slightly. If he didn't want others to pay too much attention, he wouldn't do this. Moreover, Yunfan would not take out the Fatwa Gate or anything like that during this trip to the trial tower. Yunfan and everyone else stepped into the first floor of the trial tower. When they entered the trial tower, all the people were actually separated by a mysterious force. The one who appeared on the first floor was a level 5 early stage emblem warrior that appeared in the trial tower. Yunfan defeated the level 5 early stage emblem warrior very easily and entered the next floor. The one that appeared on the second floor was a level 5 mid-stage emblem warrior, and Yunfan defeated him easily. The one that appeared on the third floor was a level 5 late-stage emblem warrior, and Yunfan defeated him in no time. The one that appeared on the fourth floor was two level 5 late-stage emblem warriors, and Yunfan crushed them as usual. The 5th floor, the 6th floor, the 7th floor. The first 10 floors were like autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves. Sophia had improved a lot during this period, but she only reached the peak of level 5. On the 10th floor, she encountered two level 5 peak emblem warriors that appeared. She suffered a lot in the battle, but fortunately, Yunfan had imitated the divine pattern on the Fatwa Gate some time ago, and created a special emblem weapon that could increase the power by 20%. Sophia was able to kill the two level 5 peak emblem warriors that appeared in the illusion with this weapon. Of course, this emblem warrior cannot be infinitely upgraded. This upgrade ratio is only for level 5. At level 6, it can only be upgraded by 5%, level 7 by 1%, level 8 by only 1,000th, and level 9 by even 1/10,000, which is pitifully small. However, this thing is a good weapon for Sophia now. After reaching the 10th floor, Yunfan did not choose to stop, but directly entered the 11th floor. After entering the 11th floor, the emblem warriors Yunfan encountered were no longer level 5, but early level 6. This was also nothing for Yunfan. He crushed the level 6 intermediate warriors on the 12th floor again, the level 6 advanced warriors on the 13th floor, the level 6 peak warriors on the 14th floor, to level 6 peak warriors on the 15th floor. Entering the 16th floor, a level 7 emblem warrior appeared. After dealing with the 3 level 7 peak emblem warriors on the 20th floor, Yunfan chose to give up. The position of captain is just right for him. He has just touched the core of the Justice Dragon Temple, but he doesn't need to go too deep to make others suspicious. Moreover, Ji Yunfan is confident that there will be few people who can beat him in this assessment. If he enters the 25th floor at once, I'm afraid that many people will stare at him. When Ji Yunfan walked out of the trial tower, many people had already finished the trial, but they rarely saw happy expressions on their faces. Ji Yunfan guessed that these people must have failed the 10th floor. Ji Yunfan even saw 2 students from the San Pedro de Macorís Junior Heraldry Academy, but judging from their performance, they also failed and looked frustrated. This trial tower is really difficult. Either you have absolute strength, or you need to have the talent to challenge higher levels. I don't know how many people can pass it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 607, Inexplicable Hostility. That pervert Ji Yunfan should be able to do it. The 3 geniuses should also be able to do it. We don't know when we will have the next chance after failing this time. Opportunities are right beside us, but we can't grasp them. Damn it. Why didn't I go? Life is full of different things. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but sigh. Everyone else was working hard for good grades, but he was thinking about how to reduce his presence. Just as Ji Yunfan was sighing, a familiar figure walked out of the trial tower. Sophia, this way. Ji Yunfan waved his hand. How is it? I just passed the 10th level test. How about you? A pair of beautiful eyes looked at Ji Yunfan curiously. I passed the 20th level. Ji Yunfan said calmly. Sophia nodded slightly and was not surprised. She knew Ji Yunfan's strength very well. Ji Yunfan's strength was definitely not as simple as the 20th level. It seemed that Ji Yunfan was deliberately hiding his weakness. Although Sophia was not surprised, it did not mean that others could remain calm. After hearing Ji Yunfan say the 20th floor, the surroundings fell into a short silence. Many people looked at Ji Yunfan, as if he were an alien, as if they wanted to see if this person had any 3 heads and 6 arms. Feeling the gazes of others, Ji Yunfan could not help but frown slightly. I don't know what you should call me, big brother. My name is Gregory Herman. I passed the trial of the trial tower by chance, but the results are not ideal. I only made it through the 11th floor. I hope you can take care of me. At this time, a short-haired man came to Ji Yunfan and greeted him eagerly. Ji Yunfan nodded politely to the guy named Gregory Herman. Let's make progress together, all for the glory of the dragon god of justice. Yes, 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 all for the glory of the dragon god of justice. Gregory Herman also responded. Brother, you are really amazing. You can directly pass the 20th level test and become a captain level figure. Unlike us, we have to accumulate merits bit by bit. I don't know how long it will take to reach the captain level. If I were stronger, it would be great. There are no requirements for entering the trial tower for the first time. If you want to enter the trial tower again in the future, you need to exchange merits. Gregory Herman said enviously. What's the point of the merits of the Justice Dragon Temple? Hearing the other party mention merits, Ji Yunfan couldn't help but be interested. In the Temple of the Dragon God of Justice, there is a very strict hierarchy system. Different ranks have different benefits and rights. From the lowest to the highest, they are formal members, vice captains, team captains, captains, deacons, and elders, the Dragon God of Justice as protectors, bishops and the Pope. Just like me, I have passed the 11th floor of the trial tower, which makes me a formal member at the lowest level. I can receive a peak level 5 dragon crystal every month, and like you, big brother, you can receive a primary level 7 dragon crystal every month. There are several ways to upgrade your level in the Temple of the Dragon God of Justice. The first is to challenge the trial tower. As long as you can log into the corresponding level, you can get the corresponding appointment. This method is the safest and most reliable. Of course, this challenge cannot be unlimited. The second way is to accept tasks in the Temple of the Dragon God of Justice. You can get merit points by completing the corresponding tasks. If you get enough merit, you can be promoted. The third way is to get the appreciation of the upper level and be hired as an exception. After Gregory Herman's narration, Ji Yunfan had roughly understood some of the Dragon God Temple and couldn't help but sigh. Isn't this third method prepared for those second generations? It's not a simple matter for different people to get the appreciation of the top leaders. The relationship of the entire Dragon God Temple is complicated, and it is not the Pope who has the final say. Although the 4 bishops are not as powerful as the Pope, they are also a strong force when they unite. Even His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice turned a blind eye to this. Ji Yunfan sneered in his heart. This is the power tactics of those in power. Only when the subordinates fight each other can the Dragon God of Justice grasp the overall situation more easily. The trial is still proceeding in an orderly manner. The trial lasted until the next morning. Only 10% of the people who participated in the assessment passed the trial. There were 5 people who passed the 15th floor, and the only people who passed the 20th floor were Ji Yunfan and a guy named Coverdale Ansel. It is said that this guy is the grandson of a bishop. When he just came out of the trial tower, he was very excited. However, when he knew that he was not the first person to successfully challenge the 20th floor, his face changed slightly. Every time he saw Ji Yunfan, there was a hint of hostility in his eyes. However, he quickly hid this hostility and came to Ji Yunfan with a smile. My friend, you are really good. I don't know how to address you. Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan responded with a smile. Ji Yunfan? I haven't heard of it, but your name does have some meaning from the East City. Coverdale Ansale frowned slightly and then immediately relaxed. Amazing Ji Yunfan. I hope we can cooperate sincerely. I don't know, when I have time, I can introduce you to my grandfather. The glory of the Dragon God of Justice is with us. Although Ji Yunfan had already felt the hostility from the other party, he didn't care too much, but he didn't directly reject the other party. I will definitely go to see him when I have time. Boss, why did you invite this guy named Ji Yunfan? The old man is not someone who can be seen by everyone. A younger brother beside Coverdale Ansale whispered carefully. This guy has passed the 20th level test just like me, and he came out earlier than me. It seems that he should have some skills. It is worth my investment in advance. Pulling him into my camp. It will help my plan. Coverdale Ansale responded expressionlessly. You still don't understand, even if I tell you too much. This is power politics. It seems that you have attracted the attention of Coverdale Ansale. I don't know whether this is good or bad. Sophia said worriedly. You don't know my strength. In the entire continent, there are not many people who can be my opponents, except the Dragon God of Justice and the Dragon God of Evil. Ji Yunfan said, and I can still feel that this kid has no good intentions. If he doesn't make an enemy of me, it's fine. If he is really dishonest, he will definitely regret it. Chapter 608, Justice Dragon Temple Greeno Branch. I hope so, but it's better to be safe than sorry. As the most powerful force on the continent, the things hidden behind the Justice Dragon Temple are probably not to be underestimated. Ji Yunfan nodded slightly. I didn't expect that there would be so many good seedlings in this trial. If we train them well, they will definitely become the backbone of our Dragon Temple. An old man in ascetic clothes said happily. Divide those who passed the test into 10 teams first. Since there are already 2 team leaders, send 8 more team leaders. The deacon in charge of the allocation said. Isn't it a bit inappropriate to let those 2 guys be the team leaders directly? They are just 2 small team leaders. They can't cause any big waves. If it doesn't work, send those 2 guys out to perform marginal tasks. Sure enough, the old ones are still the best. After the trial, Ji Yunfan was directly appointed as the captain of a team of the Justice Dragon Guard. What made Ji Yunfan more relieved was that Sophia became one of the members of his team. A piece of extremely desolate land outside the city of Skarn. A lined puppet was suspended in the air and quickly transformed. Its body automatically unfolded and turned into a white dragon ship. Ji Yunfan looked up at the dragon ship and looked at Abadia Troy on the side in amazement. Troy, you actually have this method. You are really amazing. Captain, you are a layman, right? This thing is called a heraldry puppet. It is a very special heraldry skill. There are not many people who can make this thing. My old man happens to be one of them. This thing is made of the corpse of a level 9 dragon. Even if it encounters an attack from a level 9 master, it can withstand it for a while. Abadiatroy said proudly. Let's go. The Grano branch of the Justice Dragon Temple is in the Killen Mountains. Although it is not far from here. But if we walk alone, it will take 7 or 8 days. It's better to take my dragon ship. Yunfan nodded slightly and smiled, and jumped onto the dragon ship with Sophia and others. Standing on the bow of the dragon ship, Abadiatroy was full of pride. The dragon ship soon rose into the air, and flew at high speed. Abadiatroy said proudly, my dragon ship has a special emblem invented by my ancestors. Flying at this speed does not require the consumption of its own emblem power. It is enough to absorb elemental power from the surrounding environment. Really good. I didn't expect that there is such technology on the Dragon Road. Yunfan said with a smile. He had analyzed the patterns on the dragon ship. It was because of the analysis that he was surprised. This is a technology that is very similar to alchemy, but it is essentially different from alchemy. A stone from another mountain can polish a jade. That's for sure, but it is said that this technology was obtained from an ancient relic. After a series of developments, there is an emblem puppet. Yunfan has met many people in the Temple of the Dragon of Justice in the past few days. Many people came with a purpose. For such people, Yunfan smiled and could not deny it. You are a team that has been assigned 10 official members, and Abadiatroy is one of them. What Yunfan didn't expect is that this guy's personality is similar to his previous life. He likes to do research, and their whole family has this habit. Many of the things he has studied have inspired Yunfan, and this guy is very immature in dealing with people. Simply put, Abadiatroy is more childish than others, without too many intrigues. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and you can't hide your thoughts. It's very easy for Yunfan to get along with a team member like Abadiatroy. So among the 10 people, except Sophia, Abadiatroy and Yunfan are the closest. Others seem to be infected by his personality and become relaxed. We are here. We are at the Killen Mountains. Abadiatroy's eyes lit up and pointed to the front. Yunfan looked from afar, and through the dense forest, he could see the rolling large mountain range. The entire large mountain range was covered with a layer of gold, and from a distance it looked like a long golden dragon. The environment looks pretty good. The Justice Dragon Temple is the most powerful force in the entire continent. How could the environment be bad if they could choose to set up a branch here? Abadiatroy exclaimed. From the perspective of the environment alone, it is definitely far better than Mycana City. It is worthy of being the Justice Dragon Guard. This is just a branch. When I think of the endless land of the evil dragon continent where every important place has such a branch, I can't help but admire the greatness of His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. It is because it is so powerful and represents His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. That's why we want to become the Justice Dragon Guard. A woman named Christians next to Abadiatroy said. Abadiatroy nodded slightly to show that he agreed very much with what Christians said. Yunfan shook his head slightly, but didn't say anything. He thought to himself, His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice is indeed great. If you knew what he did, wouldn't you call him the Dragon God of Justice? The Grano branch of the Dragon God Temple of Justice is one of the oldest branches of the Dragon God Temple of Justice. It is said that, since the Dragon God of Justice came to this world, it has existed until now, and naturally has accumulated an unknown amount of strength. The Dragon God Temple of Justice is extremely powerful on the surface, and can get support from other branches at any time, and even get support from the main temple. Sending out hundreds of thousands of 8 or 9 level masters is simply a small matter for the Dragon God Temple of Justice, which monitors the entire continent. However, being assigned here as an inspector is not actually a good task. The Grano branch of the Dragon God Temple of Justice nominally belongs to the Dragon God Temple, but many times they each do their own job. The people of the main temple are probably too far away to manage here. The dragon ship was shuttling through the Killen Mountains quickly. At this moment, an obstacle suddenly appeared in front of it. Abadiatroy quickly controlled the dragon ship to dive down and fly directly towards the Killen Mountains. It has been said above that the Killen Mountains are like a big dragon. The direction they are approaching is the position of the dragon's head. Fortunately, my boat handling skills are good, otherwise I would have hit it. Abadiatroy said with a long sigh of relief. Chapter 609, Incident. Don't be so rough next time, or we will have to suffer with you. Yunfan said unhappily. Captain, don't be angry. There was no accident, did you? Sooner or later, you will suffer. Abadiatroy and his team quickly found a place to anchor with the puppet ship. All the members of Yunfan's team got off the ship. At this time, two people wearing the uniforms of the Dragon Guards of Justice came over from a distance and shouted coldly, "Who are you? What are you doing in the Grano branch of the Dragon Temple of Justice?" Yunfan and others felt the other party's arrogance, but this is the Grano branch of the Dragon Temple of Justice, which is someone else's territory. We are from the Dragon Temple of Justice in Skarn, and we are here to inspect here. Another guy named Croftonald beside Yunfan, who was a little irritable, directly stated the purpose of their trip. Oh. The two guys of the Justice Dragon God Guards couldn't help but shine their eyes at the few people. The tall and thin guy in the lead said coldly, "Then follow me." At the same time, they muttered in their hearts, "There is no such thing as 3 heads and 6 arms." Yunfan and Sophia followed the two guys wearing the Justice Dragon God uniforms all the way. The few people walked on the road, as if it were flat ground, and they saw a city not far away. Listen carefully. The guy in the Justice Dragon God uniform who led the way said coldly as he walked, "Although you are sent by the top, this is the Greno branch, so you'd better follow the rules here." Croftonald frowned when he heard it. He didn't seem to expect that the other party would say such words to them. Yunfan was still calm, because he had expected this situation a long time ago. Although on the surface they were envoys and inspectors sent by the main hall of the Justice Dragon God Temple, the power of this branch was already deeply rooted. On the surface, they obeyed the arrangements of the main hall, but I'm afraid that they were already doing their own thing secretly. When he came here, he had heard from Sophia about some things about the Dragon Temple. There are many branch temples under the main temple, but only 4 branch temples are powerful, including the Greno branch. According to the level, each branch temple has at least one deacon level person in charge, and the person in charge of the Greno branch is a big man at the bishop level, with the strength of a 10th level demigod, and can be ranked in the entire Justice Dragon Temple. A deacon level person in charge of the Greno branch. Although you are messengers, you must follow our rules in the Greno branch. Fighting is prohibited within the Justice Dragon Temple. Once violated, you will be killed without mercy. It is forbidden to enter the forbidden area of the Justice Dragon Temple, otherwise you will be killed without mercy. You cannot destroy the restrictions in the Dragon Temple. If you violate it, you will be killed without mercy. After saying this, the deacon didn't even look at Yunfan and others. Croftonald was already a little annoyed at this moment, and whispered to Yunfan, "Captain, the people from the Greno branch are too arrogant. We are the inspectors sent by the main hall after all, and they treat us like this. Let alone small people like you and me. Even deacons are useless, except those who are ordered by the bishop and the pope." Yunfan said calmly, "Does His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice not care about their overbearing behavior? As long as the people below follow the orders of His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice, why should His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice care so much? And what?" Croftonald asked curiously. "And it seems that someone deliberately sent us here, and I don't know what those people are planning." In fact, Yunfan didn't want to say this later. What he meant to say was, the more intense the struggle below, the easier it would be for the Dragon God of Justice to grasp the overall situation. Yunfan naturally didn't know that his appearance did disrupt some people's plans. In their consideration, only Coverdale and Saul would pass the 20th level trial and be directly promoted to the captain. Yunfan and Sophia followed all the way and soon came to a big city. The temple of the Dragon God of Justice was built in the center of Dachim. Yunfan and others were soon taken to the reception room of the temple of the Dragon God of Justice and were allowed to stay. What do those old guys in the main hall mean? They actually sent these little guys as inspectors? An old man in a white robe in the side hall of the temple of the Dragon God of Justice frowned and said to the people around him, "Send these little guys to monitor me. My lord bishop, why don't we arrest them and torture them?" A guy next to the old man suggested. "Forget it, it's just a small ant. Even if we catch it, we may not be able to ask anything. Instead, it will give those old guys in the main hall a handle to talk about it." The situation here is different from what we imagined. I thought I could hang out here with my identity. Abadiatroy said, a little unhappy. Forget it, it's only a month. Just have fun here and relax. Yunfan didn't bother to think about it. He began to think about how to go in the future and where to start to investigate Sophia's father's affairs. Time passed silently like water, and half a month had passed in a blink of an eye. Yunfan and his friends occasionally went out to hunt some evil dragons, and most of the time they practiced here. They had just finished hunting dragons that day and were about to take a break. Yunfan had a strange feeling in his heart and suddenly frowned, as if something was going to happen. Sensing it carefully, could it be an illusion? No. Ever since I explored my destiny in the long river of destiny, I have had flashes of inspiration from time to time. Yunfan muttered to himself, it seems that something extraordinary is about to happen. An extremely strong fluctuation of the element of heaven and earth, like a surging wave sweeping across the entire Killen Mountains in an instant. Such a strong fluctuation of the element of heaven and earth made Yunfan's face change. He seemed to have felt this feeling somewhere before. The four words crystal of the world suddenly appeared in his mind. Could it be that the crystal of the world in this world is about to be born? Whoosh. He rushed out of the door and looked directly in the direction where the fluctuation came from. It's that direction. Yunfan stood at the door, looking far to the south. The extremely turbulent fluctuations of the element of heaven and earth came from the south. It was like a stone thrown into a still lake, spreading in all directions like waves, like ripples, sweeping across the earth, and spreading further away. Chapter 610. Multiple Dynamics. Such a strong fluctuation of the element of heaven and earth. Yunfan was shocked. What happened in this world? It can actually trigger such a strong power of the element of heaven and earth. It actually gives me a very ancient feeling. Even when facing His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice, I have never had this feeling. It seems that, as long as I get the thing that causes this phenomenon, I can surpass the Dragon God of Justice. Many demigod level strongmen have been tempted. No one wants to be second. Even the gods they believe in cannot stop their determination to become stronger. Compared with this power, the power in my body is like the light of a firefly compared to the light of the sun and the moon. What happened to produce such a strong fluctuation? Why did that thing appear at this time? A handsome man sat on the golden chair, but at this moment his face was a little pale, as if his old wounds had not healed. Accept me and merge with me. As long as you accept me, your wounds will heal, and you can easily and truly control the whole world, unlike now when you can only rely on conspiracy and tricks. A black illusory figure said beside the handsome man. I accept you. Am I the one who merges with you? Don't think I don't know your thoughts. You have tried to take advantage of the opportunity to devour my soul more than once. The handsome man said coldly. You think too much. I just want to find a way for us to coexist peacefully. You are so kind. Don't think I don't know your background. You are the common enemy of the world. Once I merge with you, I will be completely famous by the Dragon Clan. Haven't you been expelled from the Dragon Clan a long time ago? Otherwise, would you come to this world and use such a sinister method to collect the power of faith? And do you really think that those guys under you are truly loyal to you? Once they get the power to resist you, your ending will be very tragic. And your independent clone is always thinking about how to devour the master. Okay, you don't have to say anything more. I will not merge with you. As long as I can get the crystal of the world, I can use the original power of this world to heal my wounds. Aren't you afraid of the same thing happening as the Dragon Ball incident? Even now, there is still no clue about the Dragon Ball. Who else in this world could possibly get the Dragon Ball? What is the identity of the person hiding in the dark? How could he escape from so many demigods? And how long can you hide the secret of the emblem? If they knew the truth about the emblem, do you think they would still believe in you? Just like they did a few years ago. Okay, you don't have to say it anymore. I will never merge with you no matter what. Don't deceive yourself anymore. With your ability, couldn't you have completely eliminated me back then? You could have done it, but you didn't do it because you still had a thought in your heart, which was to merge with me. Shut up. As if he was speaking his mind, the handsome man roared with a ferocious face. At the same time, a black shadow was saying the same thing to the evil dragon god. Whoosh. Several other figures at the door also ran out of the room and soon arrived beside Yunfan. They were Sophia and the others. "Captain." The figures looked at Yunfan and said, "You should have felt it, too." Yunfan looked towards the south, the direction from which the elemental power of heaven and earth came. "Yes, we have already felt the terrifying momentum coming from that place." Several people nodded slightly. What on earth happened there? Such a terrible fluctuation of elemental power is simply unbelievably strong. Yunfan shook his head slightly. He naturally couldn't tell anyone about the crystal of the world. There were not many people on the entire continent who knew about the existence of the crystal of the world. That kind of power is our hope, to fight against the temple and the evil dragon. As long as we can get that kind of power, what does the temple of the dragon of justice count for? At the same time, some black-clothed people in some ancient, forbidden areas were discussing there. If Yunfan could see these people, he would be shocked, because these black-clothed people had no emblems on their bodies, and they were not ordinary people. They also emitted powerful energy fluctuations, which were strong and weak, and the highest had reached level 10. The Justice Dragon Temple, this evil organization, has always been preaching justice, truth, goodness, and beauty, but in fact, it does some shameful things all day long. The so-called Justice Dragon God is nothing but a devil. These talents are the core of the rebellious race. These people are the ones who discovered the essence of the emblem. Because they abandoned the emblem, they were hunted down by the Justice Dragon Temple, and were branded as rebellious races. Why are people on this entire continent so ignorant? Didn't we once be part of them? If it weren't for the discovery of the secret of the emblem, the Red Flower Society would still be loyal to that hypocritical guy, the Dragon God of Justice. If one day, I must completely destroy the temple of the Dragon God of Justice and restore clarity to the entire continent, I have a very vague feeling that day is probably not far away from us. What happened to such a strong fluctuation in the vitality of heaven and earth? The Archbishop of the Green Branch paced in the room. It could be the fluctuation of the elemental power of heaven and earth caused by the battle between gods, or it could be the birth of an ancient relic. It could also be that some artifacts appeared. No matter which possibility it is, there are both crises and opportunities. What should I do? Maybe this is a chance to become a god. Captain, let's go and take a look. Abadiatroy suggested. Okay. Yunfan was also quite anxious in his heart, because only he truly understood the preciousness of the world crystal. Even if it was a real god, he might personally take action. Obviously, there were only two people in the entire evil dragon continent, the Justice Dragon God and the evil dragon god, but no one knew whether the real situation was like this. By the way, if you encounter any danger, don't be too greedy. Yunfan seemed to have thought of something, and said to everyone, "Don't worry, Captain, we know our own weight. If you know what that thing is, I'm afraid you won't say that." Yunfan muttered in his heart. Several people ran towards the direction where the fluctuation came from. At this time, many people had already broken through the air. Yunfan and the others also turned into a phantom and quickly went south. Although the Justice Dragon Temple is known as the most powerful high-level powerhouse in the entire continent, the real situation is not like this. Chapter 611, Sudden Incident. Countless people who were hiding deep in the past jumped out. About 1,000 miles south of the Killen Mountains, this was originally a deserted town, as ordinary as it could be. It was once prosperous in the early years, but later the evil dragon descended on this world and the entire town was completely destroyed. However, at this moment, a huge vortex appeared above the ruins. It was a colorful vortex, thousands of feet high, reaching the sky and the earth. This huge vortex was the crazy gathering of the elemental power of heaven and earth, because the elemental power of heaven and earth contained the power of various attributes, and under that strong pressure and oppression, it rotated and squeezed to produce colorful light. This huge vortex of the elemental power of heaven and earth caused the elemental power of the entire continent to change, causing violent fluctuations to spread in all directions. This vortex of the elemental power of heaven and earth was shaped like a tornado, and the wind outlet of the tornado pointed directly to the ground below. It was obvious that the source of the vortex of the elemental power of heaven and earth was pointing directly to the ground below this ruin. The elemental power of heaven and earth vibrated at a high altitude, and many masters appeared out of thin air. The leading man had long hair and wore a black robe with strange patterns on it. His face was pale and he had a mysterious aura. He looked over and looked at the source of the huge vortex of the elemental power of heaven and earth. What's going on? The black-robed man frowned slightly. Such a strange phenomenon. The relics and books we collected seem to have recorded that the crystal of the world has come to the world. He stood in the sky and muttered to himself while thinking. Once the strange phenomenon appeared, it meant that the crystal of the world had already been born. It was too late to stop it. The huge vortex of the elemental power of heaven and earth suddenly bloomed, causing all kinds of element around to vibrate violently, but it soon calmed down. At the moment when the elemental power of heaven and earth changed qualitatively, a colorful crystal core appeared out of thin air, and the momentum from the prehistoric world spread. Fortune, fortune. A hunter king laughed so hard that he couldn't close his mouth. He threw away the people around him and very flexibly soared into the sky and rushed towards the crystal core. At this time, the mysterious crystal core once again emitted a strange light, and then not far from the crystal core, many weapons suddenly began to rotate around it. The speed of rotation was getting faster and faster. Although the people present did not know what the crystal core was, they knew from the posture in front of them that the crystal core was definitely beyond the existence of a divine weapon, because there were 3 or 2 divine weapons, 8 holy weapons, and countless weapons of other levels among the weapons rotating around the crystal core. Greed is the source of evil. The evil dragons are here too. They appeared in the daytime regardless of the restrictions. When the crystal core emitted colorful light again, the surrounding weapons flew in all directions. The people who appeared here were moved. They didn't care about many things and flew towards these weapons frantically. The weapons flying at high speed were extremely fierce and tried to grab and stab them on the spot. Those who were stabbed screamed in pain, but they still refused to give up the weapons in their hands. It was true that people died for money and birds died for food. Those who snatched the weapons were extremely excited. This is a high-level weapon. Relatively speaking, those who were able to snatch the weapons were lucky. Most of the people who rushed over just now died. Those who got the weapons even became the targets of others. Seeing those people around them with bad intentions, the mood of those who got the weapons instantly fell to the bottom. What do you want to do? Hand over the weapons in your hands obediently. We can let you go. Otherwise, you bastards actually want to rob, and there are so many weapons. Why don't you chase them? How can it be so convenient to chase them by yourself? With a swish, many dragon hunters chased out again, and other emblem warriors also chased after them, wanting to seize the high-level weapons. That's it. You see that the colorful crystal core must be a good treasure, but this thing is also a hot potato. Even if you get it, it will be endless trouble. Many snatchers have taken the current situation seriously. Although their strength is not weak, there is still a certain gap compared to those Hunter King level masters. Even if they got the treasure, they might not be able to keep it, so many people have already cast their eyes on the scattered weapons. At this time, many more weapons flew over, some of which landed directly nearby, and many weapons also fell here. However, when Yunfan saw what these things were, he immediately lost interest. Most of them were level 5 or 6 things, which were no longer useful to him now. Many herald warriors searched everywhere, looking at the surrounding environment from time to time. Dang, at this time, another weapon fell from the sky and hit the ground directly. Sophia was surrounded by several herald warriors as soon as she picked it up. It's a level 6 herald weapon. Little girl, hand over the weapon in your hand obediently. Fuck, someone dared to rob our big sister. Anyway, he doesn't want to live. The other members of Yunfan's team couldn't help but cheer up. Why don't you want to hand over your weapon, little girl? If so, don't blame us for being ruthless, the leading man said, and he grabbed the emblem weapon in Sophia's hand. Sophia's face sank slightly, and then her mind moved, and the emblem was instantly activated, and the power of the fire element was instantly injected into the long sword in her hand, and then it grew towards the guy who grabbed it, and instantly grew the opponent's arm. Damn, little girl, you are so cruel. We can't let you go today. Another man took out his weapon and chopped it towards Sophia's head viciously, as if he would not stop until Sophia was killed. Humph. Seeing this situation, Sophia snorted coldly and then suddenly raised her right hand holding the weapon. Between the flashes of swords and shadows, a red flame power instantly bloomed on her long sword. The green and red collided, and Sophia couldn't help but step back 2 steps, and the guy who wanted to sneak attack Sophia directly stepped back 5 or 6 steps before stopping. You are so powerful at such a young age. The man looked at Sophia warily, as if he wanted to judge her identity from her. Little girl, do you know who we are? We are members of the Diamond Dragon Hunters Black Dragon, and the person you just killed is the son of our deputy leader. You must be dead. In terms of identity? Then do you know who we are? Yunfan sneered. Who are you? Chapter 612 Begging for Mercy. We are the Justice Dragon Guards. How dare you, your little Diamond Dragon Hunters, attack us? Are you the so-called rebels? Ah. You are the Justice Dragon Guards, but why aren't you wearing the clothes of the Justice Dragon Guards? Do all the Justice Dragon Guards have to wear the clothes of the Justice Dragon Guards? Sophia said calmly. If that's the case, then you guys deserve to die even more. The dragon hunter's eyes flashed with coldness. Why are we the Justice Dragons and we deserve to die even more? Are you the so-called rebels? Sophia and the others didn't expect that these people would be ready to kill after knowing their identities. You are not wearing the clothes of the Justice Dragon Guards, so if we kill you now, even the Justice Dragon Temple can't say anything. But once we let you go, you might retaliate. In order to live better, you should just die. Are you so sure you can keep us here? Yunfan said with a faint smile. Don't underestimate us, kid. At this time, the guys from the dragon hunting group said as they held their weapons tightly and rushed towards Yunfan and the others. Yunfan shook his head slightly. Croftonold took out a huge axe and chopped at the guys who came to kill him. Croftonold had been suffocating for a long time. If it weren't for Yunfan's suppression, he might have fought with the people from the branch. Now that he finally has a chance to stretch his muscles, he naturally won't give up. Croftonold is quite powerful and can be said to be the strongest in the team except Yunfan. His family axe skill, the Axe of Creation, has a great power. Croftonold said that his father used to work for the Dragon Guards of Justice, and he was a brave and combative warrior among the Dragon Guards of Justice. Croftonold was so strong that he killed one person with just 2 or 3 axes. The faces of the other people changed drastically when they saw how powerful Croftonold was. One of them even wanted to take Sophia as a hostage. In their opinion, Sophia should be the weakest among these people. But their plan was totally wrong. Before he could get close to Sophia, he was slashed by Sophia with a sword. The sword was so fast and accurate, like lightning. The sword scared the man and he gave up his original intention and rolled to one side, which barely avoided the sword. Croftonold was in a dominant position and took his giant axe again and chopped at the other people. Croftonold knocked down the people closest to him like cutting melons and vegetables. The sound of these people groaning in pain came from not far away. Please spare my life, sirs. Those people no longer cared about their face and knelt down to beg for mercy. We have elderly parents and young children, and our whole family depends on us for support. Don't you think it's too late to kneel down and beg for mercy now? Or do you mean that only by cutting the grass and eradicating it can we ensure our safety? Yunfan's eyes flashed with cold light. The most worthless thing in this world is probably human life. Yunfan's words had just fallen, and one of the people who was still kneeling there begging for mercy suddenly took out a black stone from somewhere and threw the big stone towards Yunfan and the others. Feeling the strange breath coming from the stone, Yunfan was slightly startled and quickly used the long sword in his hand to resist. After the long sword in Yunfan's hand touched the stone actually exploded, and a black airflow flowed along the long sword towards Yunfan's hand holding the long sword. Feeling the strong corrosiveness brought by the black airflow, Yunfan's face changed slightly. Then a black line appeared on Yunfan's hand, and the black line slowly spread out, just like a ghost painting. Captain, how are you? Everyone asked with concern. Haha. What else can we do? Let you kill him. Your captain is now cursed, and he will turn into pus in a moment. Haha. How is it possible? How can there be such a thing in the world? Sophia said nervously. This stone is called the Cursed Stone, but my father found it in a ruins. There are only 2 pieces. One of them was used by my father, to deal with the 9th level Hunter King Master. Later, my father gave the other one to me and asked me to keep it for self-defense. The guy who threw the cursed stone laughed wantonly. Hand over the method to remove the cursed stone, and we can let you go. Sophia said gloomily. How can this curse be lifted? You'd better give up on this idea. Even if I die, I will make you die with me. When the black curse line spread to his whole body, it will be his death. Perhaps only the true gods in the whole continent can lift this curse. Haha. Let you die with me. Do you think this little curse power can kill me? Ji Yunfan said with a sneer. As soon as Ji Yunfan finished speaking, he saw that the black lines actually retreated back to his palm, and then a ball of grey air appeared in his palm. How is it possible? How can you resist the invasion of the curse? The guy roared in disbelief. My father told me that even a level 10 Hunter King cannot stop the invasion of the curse power and can only live a few more days. Who are you? This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Nothing is impossible. Well, if you can resist the invasion of the curse, we will let you go. Otherwise, you will die on your own. Ji Yunfan said expressionlessly while throwing the grey curse air ball towards the man. No. The man screamed in fear, but Ji Yunfan was indifferent. After the guy touched the cursed air, his body shook like a sieve, and then a black line appeared on his forehead, which looked very strange from a distance. No. Save me. After a few seconds, the line spread and soon spread to his upper body. Everyone looked at the guy's changes curiously, because they had only seen the curse in ancient books, and had never experienced it personally. Chapter 613 Curse Transfer. What effect will this curse have? They were very curious. If you don't do it, you won't die. Ji Yunfan said in a calm tone. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could you transfer the curse to me? The man roared loudly, and he was a little hysterical at this moment. Nothing is impossible in this world. The black lines continued to spread downwards, and soon spread to his whole body. Then his body exuded a foul smell, as if it was corroded by sulfuric acid. Soon his body began to decay, and melted bit by bit. No. Everyone present saw this situation and shuddered. Captain. This curse is too terrifying. Although they had all killed people, they only killed people, and never encountered such a cruel way of death. I didn't expect the power of this curse to be so strong. Ji Yunfan muttered to himself. Captain, why doesn't the curse work on you? Crofton Old was full of questions. It's not that the power of the curse has no effect on me, but I transferred it to him. Ji Yunfan said calmly. He would not say that he had mastered a little bit of the law of destiny, because the law of destiny involves too many things. Even in the land of gods where many gods gather, the law of destiny is only in the hands of very few people. After dealing with this dragon hunting team, Ji Yunfan and others set out again. As they were walking, they suddenly felt that something fell from the sky. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but look up in that direction, and saw a piece of green stone falling down and hitting him in front of him. Ji Yunfan walked over with some curiosity, picked up the green stone, and looked at it carefully. Captain, it's just an ordinary stone. Is it worth your careful observation? Abadiatroy said with a curled lip. Do you really think that pie can fall from the sky? Although it looks like an ordinary stone on the surface, what if it has any magical effect? Ji Yunfan said with a smile without any concern. Little friend, you seem to have found some good treasure just now. Can you let me see it? At this time, an old man with a white beard suddenly appeared in front of Ji Yunfan. The old man with a white beard suddenly appeared very abruptly, without any signs, but it scared Ji Yunfan and the others. Moreover, Ji Yunfan did not feel any power fluctuations from the old man, and the most important thing was that there was no emblem on his hand. The person who could suddenly appear in front of him could not be an ordinary person, so the identity of this person was worth pondering. If you want it, old sir, just take it, Ji Yunfan said, and handed the blue stone to the old man. After the old man took the blue stone, he also carefully examined it, but he did not find anything special about the stone. He was a little disappointed, and then handed the blue stone to Ji Yunfan and said, maybe this thing is a treasure, but anyway, I can't recognize it. After the old man handed the blue stone to Ji Yunfan, he said to Ji Yunfan, see you again, if we are destined to meet again, and then disappeared directly. Yunfan realized that the other party's control of space power had reached the extreme. This guy has perfected the spatial law and can ignite the divine fire at any time and achieve the position of a god. Sakhardan suddenly said, "It seems that the water on this evil dragon continent is very deep." Yunfan weighed the bluestone for a while and felt that it was heavier than gold, but apart from this feature, he did not find anything special. He shook his head and then put the bluestone into his Dragon Ball. At first, he didn't notice that after his Dragon Ball was put into the bluestone, it actually overflowed with colorful filaments, flowing to all parts of his body, nourishing his whole body, making him feel that his strength was increasing little by little, and the quality of his body was also improving little by little. This discovery surprised Yunfan. Could the bluestone be a rare treasure? It can actually affect the Dragon Ball. He used his mental power to observe the changes of the bluestone in the Dragon Ball again, and then he found that the bluestone had undergone a strange change and became simple and majestic, and even the mass and volume expanded a lot. It seems that some kind of seal has been lifted. Oh my god, what on earth is this bluestone? It looks like a rare treasure. At a glance, it still seems very ordinary, like a fragment of a meteorite from outer space, but if you look closely, you will find that it exudes an indescribable charm at this moment, giving people a sense of vicissitudes and grandeur, just like the beginning of chaos. Yunfan tried to practice the magic dragon transformation technique, and a colorful dragon energy slowly poured into the bluestone from the Dragon Ball. The bluestone actually also emitted colorful light. Yunfan became more and more curious about what the bluestone was. At this time, the Dragon Ball suddenly sent out a message. Feeling the message transmitted by the Dragon Ball, Yunfan couldn't help but be shocked. It turned out that this bluestone was not an ordinary stone, but a chaos stone born in chaos. Each chaos stone can open up a real world. After getting the chaos stone, the small world in the Dragon Ball is transforming into a real world. Once it evolves successfully, he can control the power of the world. This power is one level higher than the power of God in terms of attributes. Captain, why do you look so weird? Could that bluestone really be a good thing? Abadiatroy asked a curious team member. This kid's feeling is really accurate. Yunfan's heart tightened slightly, but he didn't say that, but said, "You didn't see it just now, what else could it be?" Yunfan didn't disbelieve his team members, but the matter of the Chaos Stone was too involved. Once it was leaked, even the Dragon God of Justice would probably come to fight for it. The Chaos Stone transformed the laws in the Dragon Ball. This transformation was not overpass. In the next period of time, Yunfan didn't want to intervene too much, but the transformation of the Dragon Ball also brought him endless benefits. The colorful power continued to overflow, providing him with an endless supply of divine power, which strengthened his body unconsciously. Yunfan believed that it would not be long before his physical body would be upgraded once again and reach the level of mid-level divine weapon. At that time, even an ordinary mid-level god would not be able to kill him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 614 Confrontation. Most people in this world don't have a deep understanding of the world crystal, but they view the world crystal in terms of emblem weapons. The patterns are dense, and even the 9th and 10th level weapons are really powerful. There are so-called emblazoned engraved inside, which can be said to be the soul and life of the weapon. Beyond the 10th level, wouldn't it be a divine weapon level existence? However, the entire continent now has a very limited understanding of the so-called emblem. It seems that someone deliberately limited it to this. The application on weapons and the emblem itself is only two aspects. It has endless magical uses in various fields. According to the level of the pattern, this world crystal is definitely a god level with unpredictable power. Many big figures at the 10th level of the Hunter King can't help but become fascinated after seeing these patterns, because these emblazoned are much more mysterious than the emblazoned they engraved on themselves. This is the world crystal, the foundation of the entire dragon continent, the origin of a world, controlling the properties and structure of all things in this world, and even controlling the destruction of the world. If I engrave them on myself, can I break through the existing level and become a god? Many 10th level Hunter Kings thought so. How could they know that the road to becoming a god was not as simple as they imagined? The road to becoming a god was divided into two types: becoming a god through faith and becoming a god through a law. They had no way to become a god at all. The road to becoming a god had long been blocked by the dragon god of justice. At this moment, he heard the roar of the evil dragons, and the great figure of the dragon god of justice rushed past in a puppet chariot, and the aura of killing swept across the world. Bishop Wordsworth Maxey is traveling. No one is allowed to enter. The puppet chariot passed by, blocking the road ahead, and the dragon god of justice blocked the road ahead. In another direction, a golden giant bird flew over, sweeping with divine power, blocking the east. At the same time, similar shouts came from several other directions, and several level 10 Hunter Kings came one after another. Bishop Wordsworth Maxey of the Dragon God Temple of Justice is too overbearing. Everyone can find opportunities. Yunfan was shocked. There were many level 10 masters. It felt a little bad to want to get the crystal of the world. The ruins were suddenly in an uproar. Many herald warriors didn't know what was going on and thought that several big shots were going to fight. Many low-level herald warriors were very uneasy. Only the high-level herald warriors were relatively calm and did not show any panic. There is a mysterious crystal core inside. The bishop is afraid that someone will snatch it. So many big shots have shown up. What exactly is that crystal core? So many level 10 Hunter Kings are willing to make enemies with the Justice Dragon Temple and go there to snatch it? Are you Hunter Kings also here for the divine crystal? That is something that His Majesty the Justice Dragon God must obtain. Aren't you afraid of offending His Majesty? Bishop Wordsworth Maxey, don't use His Majesty's name to intimidate us. If His Majesty the Justice Dragon God comes in person, we will naturally leave. The level 10 Hunter Kings looked at each other, but they did not retreat. The temptation of becoming a god and an ancestor was too great. Many low-level emblem warriors discussed for a while. When they learned that it was for the mysterious crystal, most of them felt relieved. They didn't have much hope for the crystal core. Their goal was those weapons. Very good. Bishop Wordsworth Max's eyes were extremely cold, but he didn't mean to take action. His current strength was at the peak of level 10. Although he was the strongest among the people present, he had no chance of winning against more than a dozen level 10 strong men. When these big men talked, they didn't use voice transmission, and there was no need to hide it. In the distance, many low-level emblem warriors were dignified. Several big men were obviously determined to win, even if it meant offending His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. They were really afraid that if they fought, innocent people would be affected. Yunfan was surprised. It was not until now that he realized that there were really many masters in the evil dragon continent. Many emblem warriors were discussing and talking about the origin of the crystal. It is said that this crystal has existed for countless years. It is not the first time it has appeared in the world. It is unknown from whence it was passed down. It is said that it existed with the dragon continent. When there were just living creatures on this vast land, the crystal existed. What exactly is a crystal? Many emblem warriors do not know much about it. It is said that the crystal has an unfathomable power that can suppress the entire dragon continent. Is it so terrifying? Nonsense. Even gods with divine power cannot resist the power of the crystal. Boasting. Otherwise, His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice would also like to get it. Since ancient times, I don't know how many strong people have wanted to get the crystal, but in the end they failed. It is said that this divine crystal will recognize its master on its own. Although Yunfan did not care about being restricted in his range of activities, he did not force his way out. When he heard the discussions of those low-level emblem warriors, various emotions flashed in his eyes. This world crystal has appeared before, but no one has ever obtained it. Don't all these masters want to get the crystal? Why don't they make a move? Just now, several demigod level emblem warriors wanted to take the crystal directly, but they were eventually knocked away by the colorful light released. It may not be easy to get the crystal. It's so. Hearing this, several low-level emblem warriors around couldn't help but sigh in amazement. These low-level emblem warriors had no chance of getting the crystal, so they were happy to watch those masters make a fool of themselves, so that they would feel more comfortable. At this moment, a 10th level demigod who didn't know the situation suddenly appeared and rushed towards the crystal quickly. His whole body was about to burn, and his speed reached the extreme. In an instant, he came in front of him, his face full of excitement, and he suddenly grabbed the crystal, as if to verify the words of the low-level emblem warrior. The crystal directly burst into colorful light, and instantly pushed the demigod dozens of meters away. How could this happen? Humph, Summerfield Ernest, if the crystal stone was so easy to get, how could it be your turn? Don't you see how many of us are watching here? The speaker was a level 10 demigod who had been here for a long time. He had also tried but obviously failed. Summerfield Ernest was his old rival, so he couldn't help but speak sarcastically. Gregory Reginald, I don't believe you didn't do it just now. Hey, what are you proud of for not succeeding? Summerfield Ernest also spoke sarcastically. Chapter 615, Attacks from all sides. Time passed by, and more people came from afar. I didn't expect that the 4 bishops of the Temple of Justice Dragon are here. I believe that the Pope will arrive soon. At this time, the old man who had just spoken to Yunfan suddenly appeared in front of everyone and said faintly, Priestly Rachel, I didn't expect you to dare to appear here. Aren't you afraid of death? Summerfield Gregory, one of the 4 bishops, said indifferently. Just the 4 of you guys? The old man named Priestly Rachel said, as if he didn't care at all. Oh my god, who is this old man named Priestly Rachel who dares to talk to the 4 bishops like this? Many people heard the name Priestly Rachel for the first time, and couldn't help but exclaimed, I seem to have heard of the name Priestly Rachel somewhere. Does it sound familiar to you? I have the same feeling. Priestly Rachel. Priestly Rachel can't be him? A low-level herald warrior seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but widen his eyes. Who is it? Why are you so surprised? The former first bishop of the Temple of the Dragon God of Justice, the man who almost became the Pope. It is said that he betrayed the Lord of the Dragon God of Justice and became a member of the rebellious race. The low-level herald warrior whispered, is it the guy who is called the shame of the Dragon God of Justice? Another low-level herald warrior seemed to have thought of something and said in amazement, don't you want to live anymore? You dare to say it so loudly. Be careful that your life will be in danger. Another herald warrior next to the article warrior quickly covered his mouth. But people say that Priestly Rachel was the candidate for the Pope. These are not things we can criticize. If you don't want to live, don't drag me down. Yunfan's heart moved slightly. He didn't expect that this Priestly Rachel really had a story. He just didn't know why he rebelled in the end. No, it should be said that he betrayed the Dragon God of Justice. If he was a bishop, he must have a coat of arms on his body, but when he met him just now, the coat of arms on his body had disappeared. In this way, this Priestly Rachel should have known the truth about the coat of arms. Captain, what should we do now? Abadiatroy whispered, show your identity and return to the Dragon Guards of Justice. The situation is very unclear now. Let's just use static to control dynamic. What do you think those big shots are waiting for? Are they waiting for that thing? What? It is said that the last time a crystal appeared, a lot of divine crystals appeared where it appeared. Divine crystals are crystals that contain divine laws, but they have no effect on ordinary people. Only when you reach the level of demigods can you improve your divinity by refining divine crystals. The amount of divine crystals refined by demigods every day during cultivation is limited, and they cannot be absorbed after a certain level. Ordinary divine crystals are generally used to make artifacts and semi-artifacts. There are many level 10 demigods on the Dragon continent, but there are very few level 10 demigod weapons. Generally, some special environments will condense divine crystals. Of course, some powerful demigods can also deliberately cultivate divine crystals, but it also requires accumulation over time. Many masters will deliberately make some preparations when they break through to the level of demigods in order to cultivate a divine crystal. The world crystal is not an ordinary item. It represents the origin of the entire dragon world. When the strong power of the origin gathers together, it is naturally very likely to produce a divine crystal. That is the divine crystal condensation. Bishop Zangwill Patrick also showed joy. Let me take a look first. Another bishop, Politzel Sydney, suppressed his excitement and wanted to check it out immediately. I advise you to wait a while. Summerfield Gregory said lightly. Why, Summerfield Gregory, are you going to compete with me? It seems that the relationship between the two bishops, Summerfield Gregory and Politzel Sydney, is not very good. Don't you understand the current situation? What's the situation? So many people are eyeing the divine crystal. Whoever moves first will suffer. They dare. Why don't they dare? At least Priestly Rachel dares to attack us. Who of you can stop him? At this time, the four bishops were silent. Priestly Rachel was a legend of their time, crushing everyone. Although they were all at the peak of demigods, they would definitely die if they really started fighting. Even the contemporary pope might not be Priestly Rachel's opponent. The sky had darkened, and everyone became nervous. The evil dragon kings at the peak of level 10 were also ready to move. At this time, a colorful light suddenly shot up into the sky, and the sound was deafening. Everyone present turned their heads to look. The call for the Justice Dragon Temple. Yunfan and others had already joined the Justice Dragon Guards, so they were naturally not unfamiliar with the call for the call. It seemed that the bishops present had made up their minds. Many of the official members of the Justice Dragon Guard immediately used their skills to fly over here. It seems that these big shots can't wait any longer and are going to take action. Not long after, Yunfan saw more than a dozen teams in the distance. Among them was the deacon of the Justice Dragon Temple's Grano branch, who was dressed in a grey robe and showed off in front of Yunfan and the others for a while. Richardson Chester, you came quite quickly, the leader of another team said. Of course, the Justice Dragon Order, seeing you is like seeing His Majesty the Dragon God. How dare we neglect you? You all came quite quickly. A laugh sounded, and Bishop Politzel Sydney laughed. On the surface, this Justice Dragon Temple has 6 demigods. Yunfan thought to himself, now it seems that there are quite a few hidden ones. Damn it. I didn't expect that so many people from the Justice Dragon Temple have arrived. The Justice Dragon Temple is really domineering. I just don't know if you can stop the crowd. Priestly Rachel showed a mocking smile on his face, not taking everyone seriously at all. Am I not the #1 rebel designated by your Justice Dragon Temple? Why don't you just take me down? Priestly Rachel, don't push your luck. The dignity of the Dragon Temple cannot be violated. Politzel Sydney said stubbornly. Politzel Sydney, you little guy is still so impulsive. Chapter 616 Reason. Arsehole. The little brat who used to follow me has grown up. How about I give you a chance to leave the Temple of the Dragon of Justice and come to me? Priestly Rachel said lightly. To be honest, I only have confidence in you among the 4 bishops. What else can the others do except scheming against each other all day long? Priestly Rachel ever since Priestly Rachel fought with the previous pope and the result was inconclusive. Priestly Rachel's reputation had actually spread among the high-level officials of the Temple of the Dragon of Justice. After all, the pope at that time was known as the #1 person under the Dragon of Justice. Almost everyone knew that Priestly Rachel was terrible, and even Priestly Rachel should be the person closest to God. The information about Priestly Rachel was collected very clearly. Everything from childhood to adulthood, Priestly Rachel's appearance, Priestly Rachel's habits, all were collected clearly, but the more detailed his situation was, the more surprising it was. In the information, Priestly Rachel was a fanatic believer of His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. What happened that year that made his faith collapse all of a sudden? Among the people present, the bishops didn't care about other people. The only one they cared about was this Priestly Rachel. They were afraid of the current Priestly Rachel and the future Priestly Rachel. Priestly Rachel's talent. With Priestly Rachel's talent, it is possible that he will become a god in the future. We don't know how strong Priestly Rachel is. The Pope back then is not something we can guess. Damn. Are we going to give up the divine crystal we got? Bishop Wordsworth Maxey said in a voice transmission. After all, he is not young anymore. Maybe his strength has declined a lot, and his methods now are probably not that strong. Otherwise, you, Summerfield Gregory, can try to defeat him. If you succeed, it will be a great achievement to bring Priestly Rachel back. Why don't you go? If you let me go, wouldn't that be courting death? You and I were present in that battle that year. Priestly Rachel is indeed a threat. Everyone is afraid of Priestly Rachel now. If the other party gets the divine crystal and makes it into a divine weapon or a semi-divine weapon, it will be even more terrifying at that time. Summerfield Gregory, if your god-trapping emblem is suddenly used, even the Pope will suffer. Even if Priestly Rachel has great skills, he can't withstand the combined attack of several of us. The divine trapping mark is an extremely special way of using the emblem, just like a ban. It can be said to be the sublimation of Summerfield Gregory's own domain. However, when facing Priestly Rachel, he was not absolutely sure of pulling the other party into the divine trapping mark, so he had to attack suddenly. Success in an instant. But I'm not sure I can trap him. Summerfield Gregory said hesitantly. You are not sure? Then why don't we create conditions for you? Can we? Why not? If you succeed, you can't kill him. I want to ask him why he betrayed His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. Okay, we promise you that we won't kill him. In that case, leave it to me. Summerfield Gregory's eyes were full of determination. When Priestly Rachel became a bishop, Summerfield Gregory had just joined the Temple of the Dragon God of Justice. At that time, Summerfield Gregory regarded Priestly Rachel as his role model and aspired to become a person like Priestly Rachel. However, fate seemed to have played a big joke on him. Later, Priestly Rachel betrayed the Dragon God of Justice. At first, Summerfield Gregory couldn't believe it was true. Summerfield Gregory always wanted to ask Priestly Rachel in person why he betrayed His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. We are just waiting for Summerfield Gregory. Once we trap Priestly Rachel, we will have the upper hand. Politzel Sidney said. The reason why the anti-seed forces can last for a long time is actually due to Priestly Rachel. Priestly Rachel is the leader of the anti-seed. If Priestly Rachel can be captured, I believe that the elimination of the anti-seed forces will be much smoother. Priestly Rachel, I advise you to leave early. Politzel Sidney frowned and shouted, my Justice Dragon Temple is not a weakling. Once we try our best to stop you, I'm afraid you. Politzel Sidney, I felt that you are a figure very early, and your future is limitless. I didn't expect that you have already reached the position of bishop. You are a good scheming hand, but your strength is still a little lacking. At this time, Politzel Sidney suddenly winked at the others, and then the other three bishops also understood, and suddenly took action. The ground began to tremble for a while. The three bishops standing in the distance attacked at the same time. Summerfield Gregory's eyes flashed with brilliance, and the emblem was activated instantly. Then, endless elemental power was injected into him, a strange long whip weapon. The name of the long whip is called God Trapping Pattern. It is made of blue sacred wood. Although the blue sacred wood is nominally wood, its hardness is far beyond the ordinary 10th level divine iron. God Trapping Pattern, as long as it is trapped. Once it is wrapped around the body, even the gods will find it difficult to get out. The other two bishops also attacked together. When Priestly Rachel sensed it, the whip had already been used. I saw wood green vines suddenly emerging from the long whip, and the vines were swinging wildly. The vines were still flashing with rich green light. The thin branches and leaves of the vines were entangled with each other, just like tough ropes. They went straight to Priestly Rachel and instantly wrapped Priestly Rachel. The speed was too fast, making it hard to defend against. What? The rebellious warriors hiding in the crowd saw this, and their faces changed drastically. In the blink of an eye, the leader who was standing there was surrounded by countless vines and entangled. Hurry up and save the leader. One of the rebellious warriors shouted. Too late. Politzel Sidney, who was standing in the distance, laughed. The god trapping mark is made by the sacred tree, and it can trap even the gods. Chapter 617 Spaces King. Boom. Countless huge vines wrapped around Priestly Rachel twisted and pulled towards Summerfield Gregory, slamming into the ground. Boom. A huge pit appeared on the ground. Then Politzel Sidney drew out a golden semi-artifact sword and stabbed it towards the vines. Die. Die. The former legend. You, the Temple of the Dragon of Justice, are so despicable. One of the rebels roared with a hideous face and gnashed teeth. Release our leader. The rebels present were all anxious. Everyone on the rebel side wanted to save priestly Rachel, but the sudden entanglement of the vines made them not know how to rescue him. Ha ha ha. Today I will kill the legend. Politzel Sidney laughed wildly, turned his head, and looked at the vines. Die. Politzel Sidney's words just fell, but his face suddenly changed, because he found that the vines began to expand. Summerfield Gregory's forehead was sweating, and he was obviously going all out, but the situation was not optimistic. What's wrong with Summerfield Gregory? Politzel Sidney asked hurriedly. Priestly Rachel is too strong, and he is breaking the divine trap. Summerfield Gregory's face flushed, and he tried his best to infuse the power of the emblem to try to stop the other party. How is it possible? Even the Pope can't do it so easily. Politzel Sidney roared loudly. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Priestly Rachel's strength is stronger than the Pope. Are you kidding me? The green vines were tightly wrapped around Priestly Rachel. Within the entangled vines, a sword blade transformed by the power of space was wrapping around Priestly Rachel and constantly rotating, madly cutting those vines and constantly strangling the vines. Space is king. I can't believe that Harrington Elvis actually gave the god-trapping mark to Summerfield Gregory. Priestly Rachel was attacked so suddenly, but he was not angry, and said to himself lightly, Harrington Elvis, the current pope, was once Priestly Rachel's best friend. They both became bishops at the same time, but later they took completely different paths. Harrington Elvis became the pope, and Priestly Rachel became the leader of the rebellion. This god-trapping mark was forged by Harrington Elvis and me back then, but I didn't expect it to be used against me now. It's really funny. The space bound by the vines was very small, and even big means could not be used. Priestly Rachel immediately used his own domain. Space is king. Swish. The space blade rotated around Priestly Rachel, but crushed the vines that wanted to wrap around Priestly Rachel like ropes. It has been nearly 20 years since the last confrontation with the god-trapping mark. All the characteristics of the god-trapping mark were clear in Priestly Rachel's mind. At that time, Harrington Elvis personally used it, but he didn't trap him, and Summerfield Gregory was even less likely to do it. If we say that in the early days, he only understood a little bit of the true meaning of the rules of space. But later, he continued to understand the true meaning of the rules of space, and a large amount of the power of rules, condensed with each other. Priestly Rachel naturally became easier to control the power of space, and Priestly Rachel was only one step away from becoming a god of the law. What he lacked now was an opportunity, and the crystal of the world was his opportunity. As long as he could grasp it, he could become a god in one leap, break away from the ranks of ordinary people, and become an extraordinary existence. Especially now that he can almost conform to the rules of space at any time. Priestly Rachel's realm is already very high, just waiting for an opportunity. Now that the space is king, the power is naturally very great. Just the strangling power alone, the 10th level demigod will be strangled and torn into pieces in an instant. Heavenly sword. Politzel Sidney did not dare to neglect it at all. He stabbed the vines with the semi-artifact in his hand, but what frightened Politzel Sidney was that the semi-artifact sword in his hand could not penetrate at all. The space in front of Priestly Rachel actually showed signs of breaking. What a profound understanding of the rules of space. I'm far behind this old man, Yunfan exclaimed. This guy's not simple. He actually took the path of becoming a god through rules. This is much more difficult than the path of faith. Only people with extraordinary talents can make it. Become a god. What should I do in the future? Yunfan fell into deep thought. Becoming a god through faith and becoming a god through rules have their own advantages and disadvantages. There is no comparison. Can I choose to do both at the same time? Even ordinary gods can fight when their bodies reach the level of lower level artifacts, but this is not the real godhood. Only after becoming a god can the soul be sublimated in essence. This move contains the moves of the endless space law. It is a domain, but it is far beyond the power of the domain. It can be said that it has entered the domain of the gods, the domain of the gods. Priestly Rachel's power penetrated the vines, and the vines were like bubbles, and could not hinder Priestly Rachel's power at all. Swish, swish, swish. A large number of vines were torn apart directly. Although the god-trapping mark was extremely tough, it was still cut apart by the power of space. facing the strongest power of priestly Rachel. In fact, priestly Rachel's understanding of the rules was far beyond that of ordinary demigods, and there were probably many true gods who could not compare with him. The space blade danced, cutting off a large number of struggling and twisted vines. Priestly Rachel soared into the sky with the power of space, breaking through the barrier of the vines and rushing out. Just when the anti-seeds were worried about the safety of their leader, the vines suddenly exploded, and a silver light soared into the sky. An old man appeared in front of everyone without any injuries on his body. How is it possible? Politzel Sidney's face changed drastically. Others did not know the power of the god-trapping mark, but he knew it very well. He had been trapped before. It was impossible for him to break it with his strength. Summerfield Gregory, you are not letting me win, are you? I'm letting you win. This is horrible. This is horrible. Priestly Rachel was broken so easily? Wordsworth Maxey growled with his eyes wide open. How is it possible? Is the gap between us really that big? Chapter 618. The bishop takes action. The leader is worthy of being the leader. The god-trapping mark, was it broken just like that? Politzel Sidney's face was full of disbelief. The four bishops had almost no difference in strength. That's why he understood more clearly how difficult it was to break the god-trapping mark, which had a very strong binding force. But now it was broken by the other party, easily broken. Originally, he thought that there was not much difference between him and priestly Rachel, but now it seems. How could they know that priestly Rachel was almost the same as them in strength before leaving the Temple of Justice Dragon, or even stronger? In terms of the perception of the rules, he was even more than them by who knows how many levels. Leader. The anti-seeds looked at priestly Rachel with surprise, and at the same time, they were also excited when they saw the surprised and shocked look of the Temple of Justice Dragon. At the same time, they were also shocked by the strength of the leader priestly Rachel. Yunfan looked at the old man with his eyes and sighed in his heart, and he could not see through the old man anymore. The vines around priestly Rachel disappeared, and he walked out directly. Priestly Rachel. A hoarse voice sounded. Priestly Rachel turned his head to look. In the distance, Summerfield Gregory looked pale and stared at priestly Rachel and said, "Why is the gap between us so big? You and I are both at the peak of level 10. There are also differences between level 10. Priestly Rachel said softly, "Without understanding the rules, you will never know the gap between you and me. There are also differences between level 10. Summerfield Gregory's eyes widened in disbelief. Why haven't I heard of it at all? There are many things you haven't heard of. When you know what the Justice Dragon God has concealed, you will know how dirty the Justice Dragon Temple is." Priestly Rachel snorted coldly, but did not argue anymore. "You, a lowly rebellious species, dare to insult His Majesty the Justice Dragon God. I must." Politzel Sidney said viciously. "What can you do to me? Come on, I'll stand here and see what you can do to me." Priestly Rachel curled his lips and seemed to look down on the bishops present. "Okay, wait until one day I also comprehend the power of rules, and I will definitely capture you myself." Politzel Sidney, "It's not that I'll look down on you, but you will never comprehend the power of rules in your lifetime." Priestly Rachel said calmly this time, "What exactly is the rule of the world?" Summerfield Gregory also whispered, and the other members of the Justice Dragon Guard behind him were still in shock. This priestly Rachel is stronger than expected, and he is indeed a legendary figure. Although Politzel Sidney was very angry, he was secretly thinking, what exactly is this so-called power of rules? Of course, he is so powerful that even the trapped god pattern can't take him down. I'm afraid that only the Pope can kill him. Politzel Sidney was very confident, because no one really knew his trump card, but he also understood how powerful priestly Rachel was, and he would probably not get any benefit if they really fought. How can we force him to retreat? The best way is to have enough people to make him retreat. The leader is really amazing. Politzel Sidney. At this time, a 10th level strong man among the rebels also walked out and asked loudly, "What do you mean by this? You suddenly attacked our leader? We are all here, and you dare to be so arrogant. Damn it." Politzel Sidney was secretly embarrassed in his heart. He never thought that there would be another 10th level strong rebel. Wait a minute, who is this guy? Why does he give me a very familiar feeling? Politzel Sidney frowned slightly. Priestly Rachel's eyes flashed with a fierce light, and he snorted coldly, "Are you ready to make another move? If you attack again, I will not show mercy." Damn it. Little Sydney never thought that Priestly Rachel would be so out of character and become so overbearing. At this moment, little Sydney was a little afraid. The opponent's strength was too terrifying. Priestly Rachel wanted to be arrogant and completely suppress the temple of the dragon god of justice. "My lord bishop." His dragon god of justice guards were angry at this moment. "I, the dragon god of justice guards, represent the majesty of his majesty the dragon god of justice. I'm not easy to bully. Do you really think that our dragon god of justice guards are made of mud? Fight with them. Fight. My lord bishop, let's fight them today. These rebellious people actually dared to ignore us like this. We must make them pay." Suddenly, many members of the Justice Dragon Guard roared angrily. Most of these people grew up in the Justice Dragon Temple, and many of them were orphans who were specially found. They felt a sense of belonging to the Justice Dragon Temple. This surprised several bishops present. Although these guys felt a sense of belonging to the Justice Dragon Temple, this was not the time to act on impulse. Once they angered Priestly Rachel and others, if a war really broke out, one or two of the four bishops might really die, and it was hard to say who would be the one. "You are so old and still bully the little guys, Priestly Rachel, aren't you ashamed to say it out?" At this time, a voice came from somewhere, ringing in almost everyone's ears. Everyone present couldn't help but look for the source of the voice. After hearing this voice, Priestly Rachel's face darkened slightly. He had already heard the identity of the visitor from that voice. "Harrington Elvis, since you are already here, why don't you come out to see me?" "What?" After hearing what Priestly Rachel said, everyone present couldn't help but wonder who this Harrington Elvis was. "Have you heard of the name Harrington Elvis?" The four cardinals looked at each other. Although they felt very familiar with the name, they couldn't remember it for a while. They have always called Harrington Elvis His Holiness the Pope, and few dared to call him by his name. Perhaps only the Dragon God of Justice dared to call him by his name. "I didn't expect that after so many years, you can still recognize my voice," the voice said again. Chapter 619 Background. "You and I have worked together for many years, and we can be said to be best friends," Priestly Rachel said with a slightly complicated expression, "but that year you chose to stay, and I chose to leave. Just because of the fate between you and me in the past, I will let you go today," the voice said lightly. "Leave here. These things are not for you to peek into. Let me go." Haha. Harrington Elvis. After becoming Pope, your tone has become much louder. You and I have fought many times, right? You have always lost more than you win. Who gave you the courage to let you say such big words? After becoming Pope, Harrington Elvis. My god, this is the Pope's name. No wonder this name feels so familiar. At this moment an old man in a white robe and a crown came from a distance. Harrington Elvis, I thought you would stay hidden in the dark, but you couldn't hold back so soon. Priestly Rachel, give up. Don't do those useless things. As long as you come back, I will let you be a bishop respected by everyone. How about that? Haha, what if I want to be the Pope? Priestly Rachel, don't push your luck. This will not benefit anyone. You like to be Claphamfield's running dog so much, but I, Priestly Rachel, can't do it. Priestly Rachel laughed and suddenly flew up. What did you say? Harrington Elvis glanced at Priestly Rachel. His breath was cold, and there was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes. Claphamfield is the name of the dragon god of justice. Although Harrington Elvis is the Pope, he is indeed just a running dog of the dragon god of justice. Isn't it? Don't you know what Claphamfield has done? The righteous dragon god admired by everyone. The hidden truth. Otherwise, I will make the truth public. Shut up. Harrington Elvis never thought that the other party would say such a thing. Once the truth is known, more people will rebel. The authority of the Righteous Dragon Temple will be greatly challenged. At that time, the Righteous Dragon Temple will probably be condemned by everyone. What is the truth? Everyone present was puzzled. They were already interested in Priestly Rachel's words. Since so many people want to know, I will tell you. That is the emblem. Priestly Rachel, don't confuse people here. Harrington Elvis stretched out his hand, and a scepter appeared in his hand. The power of the element was fluctuating and flickering, showing a powerful force. As Harrington Elvis's face changed, a strong confidence gushed out, as if at this moment, he was the master of the world. Yunfan only noticed at this time that the Pope had no emblem on his hand, and his power was actually bursting out from his own body. Just as Yunfan was stunned, Harrington Elvis flashed a cold smile at the corner of his mouth, and the scepter in his hand shone brightly. A golden light slashed over, and the light condensed into a line. The sharpened murderer saw a slash directly at Priestly Rachel's body, and it was actually going to pierce Priestly Rachel's head. Golden light glaze slash. With just one strike, Yunfan felt how powerful this person, who was nominally the first under the Dragon God of Justice, was. Priestly Rachel's space defense was broken, and the power of space had no effect under the domain of Pope Harrington Elvis. This Harrington Elvis has actually condensed the demigod. Sakharden reminded with a slight surprise, if he had enough power of faith, he would probably have become a god now. Priestly Rachel only felt the golden light in front of him. The opponent's golden light completely enveloped his whole body, as if he was restrained and unable to move, as if he could only be a fish on the chopping board, at the mercy of others. This feeling was fleeting. A powerful move, so powerful, it was simply earth-shattering. Harrington Elvis's move was ruthless, and showed no mercy. The masters fought in an instant. This was a matter of life and death. Priestly Rachel naturally did not dare to neglect it. At the peak of level 10, one had a high level of control over the power of rules, and the other had condensed the demigod. The two were equal, and the moves they used were not inferior to his own. The Temple of Justice Dragon, the Pope of the Temple of Justice Dragon, the first force in the evil dragon continent, how could their abilities be inferior? Even when Priestly Rachel was at his peak, he could only compete with Harrington Elvis, and the two were only evenly matched. Space is king. Priestly Rachel gritted his teeth and regained his consciousness. Then Priestly Rachel opened his hand, and the power of space burst out. It suddenly changed and turned into an isolated space-time, covering the sky and the earth. Golden light shield, 10,000 gang domain. Harrington Elvis snorted coldly. Seeing the power of space sweeping over, the power of golden light protected himself. Then it changed into thousands of golden lights. Another golden light came out of his body and turned into a golden dragon. He opened his mouth and intertwined with the aura formed by the power of space. 10,000 golden lights broke through Priestly Rachel's defense and penetrated his body. Just this move put Priestly Rachel in a life and death crisis. At this moment, silver light shot out from Priestly Rachel's body. Priestly Rachel suddenly disappeared and appeared dozens of meters away in an instant. Space is king. You are indeed worthy of being the master of space power. Your means of escape are really amazing. Harrington Elvis said indifferently with a blank expression. Thank you. Harrington Elvis is the Pope of the most powerful temple of the Dragon God of Justice on the continent. It can be said that he is the direct disciple of the Dragon God of Justice. It is not an exaggeration to even allow him to escape from the control of the sacrificial divine pattern, which shows his high status. Not to mention the other part, his realm. The scepter in his hand is a divine weapon made by the Dragon God of Justice himself. The power of ordinary people who step into the demigod realm is also quite limited. This scepter artifact is equivalent to adding half a layer of divine power, which takes advantage of it in battle. The strength of the two people is not much different. The extra half layer of divine power makes Priestly Rachel feel a little bit strenuous. Golden light turns into a dragon. Golden divine thunder. The moment Harrington Elvis flew up, a golden thunder condensed from the scepter in his hand. Chapter 620. The evil dragon appears. Then, dozens of golden thunderbolts were spit out from the scepter, blasting towards Priestly Rachel in the distance. Priestly Rachel just condensed the power of space and broke through the blockade of the golden light field. Although the Space King is powerful, he suffered from the lack of a divine weapon. Priestly Rachel, you haven't made much progress in all these years. Harrington Elvis saw this momentum. Although he only took some advantages, he was not forgiving. The relationship between the two was very subtle. A golden dragon appeared beside him. The dragon opened its mouth, and the golden light suddenly rushed out, which instantly consumed the power of space. Priestly Rachel's face changed, and he repeatedly urged the power of space, but that part of the space power actually lost its sensitivity. Space is the king. All directions are moving. At this moment, a strong space fluctuation came out from Priestly Rachel's side, and it turned into a silver blade, followed closely, and rushed towards Harrington Elvis's golden dragon. This all four directions are moving is the promotion realm of the king of space. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a demigod realm. It is still very different from Harrington Elvis's golden realm, which is full of golden energy. All four directions are moving is also mixed with a subtle divinity that is not easy to be detected. All four directions are moving. Want to break my golden realm? Wishful thinking. You used this trick to beat me slightly back then. Do you really think I will suffer the same trick again? Harrington Elvis didn't take it seriously. He was about to use his magical powers to break the all four directions are moving. Then he turned around and said to the others, stay away. The next battle may have a larger fluctuation. The people present heard Harrington Elvis's order. Although they wanted to see what was going on, they began to hesitate when they thought of the larger fluctuations Harrington Elvis said. In the end, they retreated far away. Even the four bishops flew high into the sky, but they didn't fly far. As bishops of the Temple of the Dragon of Justice, they still had their own pride. Golden domain, swallowing the world. Harrington Elvis's body was filled with golden energy, which was injected into the body of the evil dragon phantom. The evil dragon phantom immediately expanded and grew into a giant evil dragon as big as a small hill. It opened its mouth and sucked in a lot of space power. Without stopping, the evil dragon bared its fangs and claws and swallowed Priestly Rachel. Very good. Priestly Rachel, who was standing in the golden domain, shouted, and the space power suddenly started again. What's going on? The space power and the golden energy of the golden domain intertwined, and it was like a blade cutting leather, making a crackling sound, and the uneasy emotion was transmitted to Harrington Elvis' heart. Once the domain was damaged, he would feel it deeply. Waves of golden energy were cut and collapsed from the inside. Harrington Elvis couldn't help but frown deeply. Power over the world. Harrington Elvis waved the scepter in his hand violently, and a golden light burst out. This is the divine pattern engraved on the scepter by the dragon god of justice. It condenses the power of gold and emits golden light. It can not only refine everything, but even tear everything apart. The scepter contains 9 divine pattern formations engraved by the dragon god of justice. Each of them has a special function and is very powerful. Although Harrington Elvis is already a demigod, he cannot activate all of them because his own divine power is limited. To activate all 9 divine patterns of the scepter at once, he must be at least a lower god, so he can only choose one of the divine patterns with decent lethality to activate. Groups of golden light bloomed from the inside of the scepter, and the surrounding airwaves surged. The protective shield composed of the power of space was actually blown apart by the golden light. At the same time as the space protective shield was cracked, Priestly Rachel was sensed. It was a feeling of being forcibly torn apart, and then he violently spit out a mouthful of blood. The power of the artifact cannot be underestimated. Clapham Field is really good to you. He is willing to let you use this artifact. Priestly Rachel gnashed his teeth. What nonsense. Seeing this opportunity, Harrington Elvis did not neglect it. He quickly activated another divine pattern of the scepter again. A golden stream of light surrounded his body and spun at high speed, mixed with rumbling sonic booms, and hit Priestly Rachel. Priestly Rachel, you are really strong. You can break my domain. But I'm born invincible with the artifact scepter. As long as I capture you, no one in heaven or on earth can save your men, destroy your divine power, and take you back to see His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice, so that others will know that my Dragon God Temple of Justice is powerful and cannot be violated. Harrington Elvis roared. If his body was cut by the power of space, even he would be torn to pieces. After all, Harrington Elvis had rich combat experience. Although the golden light domain was torn apart, he still showed his strength at this critical moment. The surging golden light resisted the invasion of the Space Force. This was the divine skill he released with the help of the artifact scepter. The golden air rolled, the sky and the earth changed color, and the King's Majesty was fully demonstrated. Golden sword net, thunder interweaving. In the crazy concentration of space power, the scepter he controlled once again released thousands of feet of golden light and separated many golden fine threads, which unexpectedly intertwined into a dense golden light net like spider silk. This golden net, as soon as it was spread, caught priestly Rachel, and countless cutting sounds were heard. The Space Force and the golden net fought fiercely together. Evil Dragon King, are you not ready to take action? Priestly Rachel suddenly said. What? Everyone present was shocked after hearing Priestly Rachel's words. Could it be that the rebellious species was shocked and joined forces with the evil dragon? At this moment, a golden dragon flew from a distance, blocking out the sky and the sun, with endless momentum. If the people of the Temple of the Dragon of Justice get the divine crystal, you evil dragons will probably have no room to move. Priestly Rachel said in a calm tone. Humans, keep going. Why stop? The golden dragon had already flapped its wings and came to the front of several people. Evil Dragon King, do you also want to wade into this muddy water? Harrington Elvis said with a little caution while holding the scepter in his hand. Although I really don't like to join forces with humans, Priestly Rachel is right. Once you get that thing, my evil dragon clan will probably be killed or injured. The golden dragon said faintly, and at the same time, he looked at the colorful crystal not far away and revealed a trace of greed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 621, Destiny, HMPH. Very good Evil Dragon King, you violated the agreement signed by His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice, and I will kill you today. HMPH, Harrington Elvis, it's not that I look down on you. Do you think you are Clapham Field? Just because you want to kill me first, I'm afraid you are not qualified. The Evil Dragon King showed disdain in his eyes. At this time, a black shadow suddenly appeared not far from the world crystal. Many people saw this situation, and most of them laughed at it. This is too arrogant, daring to use small tricks in front of so many masters. The crystal is not something that everyone can get. The 5-colored divine light on the surface alone is not something that ordinary demigods can break. But to everyone's surprise, the black shadow actually passed through the barrier of the 5-colored divine light and came directly to the crystal. Damn. What's going on? The expressions of the people present changed drastically, and Harrington Elvis and the Evil Dragon King also stopped. Little ant, you're looking for death. Harrington Elvis didn't have time to think about it anymore. The golden net was activated instantly and spread down towards the black shadow and the crystal net. The black shadow seemed to know that things were not going well. If it was caught by Harrington Elvis, it would definitely not end well. So the black shadow injected all its strength into the crystal. The crystal actually erupted with colorful light. What? How can you control this mysterious crystal? Harrington Elvis was extremely shocked. He was the only one among the crowd who knew the true identity of the crystal. It was because he knew what this thing was that he was shocked. Even if the Dragon God of Justice wanted to activate the crystal, it would not be a simple matter. This was why he did not stop the black shadow from approaching the world crystal. However, the development of the situation seemed to be beyond his expectations. The colorful light did not stop the black shadow from approaching. Even after the black shadow touched the crystal, it could activate the crystal. The black shadow covered his face, as if he didn't want others to see him. However, from the look in the black shadow's eyes, it could be seen that the black shadow man was not too old. Through those eyes, Yunfan even felt a hint of ridicule from them. Who on earth is this person? He actually dared to look at Harrington Elvis with such eyes. He was the Pope, and one of the strongest people on the continent. The black shadow didn't say a word, but he had already poured all his strength into the crystal of the world. The crystal of the world has incomparable power, and is the origin of the world of the dragon continent. The black shadow man activated the crystal to release a special domain. Once activated, the world blesses it, and then the crystal takes the black shadow man to fly through the air at a speed faster than sound. The greater the user's mana, the faster the flying speed. When it came into contact with the golden net, the crystal once again burst out with a more powerful 5-colored divine light and whistled. It broke the golden net in one go and flew away, breaking away from Harrington Elvis' control. Because of the previous battle, the rest of the people retreated a lot, and the Black Shadow Man suddenly broke out, which caught no one by surprise. Of course, the main reason was that the power borrowed by the crystal from the Dragon Continent was too strong. With the blessing of the world's power, it was several times the speed of sound. The colorful airwaves left the golden light far behind. The field supported by the crystal rubbed the atmosphere, deriving a long colorful phoenix tail. This speed was originally only achieved by wind masters who had cultivated to the level of demigods. Now the Black Shadow Man has achieved this with the help of the crystal. You should know that the Black Shadow's strength is at most level 6. Harrington Elvis roared angrily. This time he was really overturned in the gutter. He never thought that a small ant would run away under his nose, but he knew that at his current speed, it would be difficult to catch up with the other party. Just when the guy urged the crystal, he was slightly injured by the backlash of the world's power. Your Holiness, that little thief runs so fast. What should we do now? Should we chase him? The 4 bishops flew over and saw Harrington Elvis like this. They were secretly shocked. Oh my god, a small ant actually caused the Pope to suffer minor injuries. Is this a joke? I'm fine. We must chase him. That thing is what His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice specifically asked for. If we can't get it back, you know the consequences. The last Dragon Ball incident has already disappointed His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. But even if we chase him, we have to be more secretive. Otherwise it will become that my Dragon God Temple of Justice is chasing a little guy for a treasure, which has a very bad impact. I didn't expect that the little guy could directly use the power of the crystal. This matter is weird. We will make a long-term plan. We won't let that kid get the crystal. Harrington Elvis sneered. I'm protecting that unknown little guy, Harrington Elvis. Priestly Rachel laughed. To be honest, he was very happy that Harrington Elvis had suffered such a big loss. Priestly Rachel, I don't have time to play with you now. Don't provoke me. Otherwise. Harrington Elvis was tricked by the Shadow Man. He was very angry, and Priestly Rachel dared to provoke him here. He deserved to die. Haha. Who is joking with you? I'm telling you clearly that I'm protecting that kid. Priestly Rachel smiled and stretched. I didn't expect such a change to happen. I'm really curious about who the Shadow Man is. Abadiatroy scratched his head. It doesn't matter who it is, but those big shots are probably going to be pissed off. The aura of that little guy is very strange, very similar to the aura on the world crystal, but much weaker. Who are you, kid? Yunfan was also very curious and couldn't help muttering. I can't believe it. I really can't believe that there really is a Guardian clan. Sakurdin said excitedly. Guardian clan. Yes, legend has it that after the birth of each plane, there will be a clan favored by the plane world. This clan will be blessed by the world and have some special means. At the same time, they are responsible for the mission of guarding this plane. They have the ability to communicate with the world. As long as they are in this plane world, they can use the power of the world to a certain extent. But I have always thought that this is just a legend, but I didn't expect to meet it today. This is the European Emperor. It's destiny. Yunfan said with a slight smile. Chapter 620 To the Guardian's Sorrow. What European Emperor? Nothing. So the world crystal already has an owner? No. The world crystal obviously does not have an owner. Although the Guardian clan can use the power of the world, they can never become the master of the world. They are just guardians. When the master of the world appears, they will follow the master of the world. Obviously, the Guardian clan thinks that these people in the Justice Dragon Temple are not worthy of being the masters of this world. I'm afraid that the Justice Dragon God and the Evil Dragon God will soon be restless. As gods, they must know this. A colorful crystal swept through the void, and the airflow it brought swept away the grass and trees, leaving a deep gully. Suddenly, the colorful crystal stone slowed down with a black shadow, landed on a barren mountain, and sank down with a thump. The world crystal really consumes elemental power. I have consumed more than half of it in just a short while. Now even my spirit is a little exhausted. If those guys chase me, I'm afraid my life will be in danger. The Black Shadow Man sat on a huge rock and sighed. He stopped urging the world crystal and tried his best to rest and recover his strength. God crystal, it is really the God crystal that makes you successful and the God crystal that makes you fail. You clearly allow my clan to use your power, so why can't you be the master? No, I don't believe it. I must find a way to make you recognize me as the master. The Black Shadow Man said firmly. I expect that the people of the Justice Dragon Temple will not chase us like this. Otherwise, there are thousands of dragon hunters. If they are seen by some masters, it will become the Justice Dragon Temple chasing a little guy for a treasure. The Black Shadow Man had the opportunity to look at the world crystal in his hand and couldn't help but be a little obsessed. Refining you is equivalent to refining the entire evil dragon continent. At that time, even the Justice Dragon God will have to act according to my mood. Who? Come out. The black-clothed man frowned suddenly and couldn't help looking to the left front. I didn't expect the people of the Guardian clan to be so careful. The speaker was another black-clothed man. Obviously, he was not in the same group as the black-clothed man who got the world crystal. Who are you? How do you know I'm from the Guardian clan? The little ghost of the Guardian clan who took the world crystal was cautiously on guard. Who am I? How do you know you are from the Guardian clan? Don't worry about it. Just hand over the world crystal. It's a burden to keep such a treasure on you. What family favored by the world? It's just a group of people cursed by the world. Later, the black-clothed man appeared and said with sarcasm, how could you know this secret? The little ghost of the Guardian clan who took the world crystal had an indifferent look in his eyes. You should know that this secret was only circulated in their Guardian clan, and now it was revealed by the other party. Little guy, don't challenge my limits, and don't try to escape. You must have consumed a lot of energy to escape from the hands of the Pope just now. The man in black appeared later and said with a smile, if you want to get the crystal of the world, you have to die. Little guy is so ignorant. In this case, I have to kill you first. The man in black suddenly attacked, and black gas spread from his body, instantly blocking the way of the little ghost of the Guardian clan who took the crystal of the world. The power you used is not the power of darkness. The little ghost of the Guardian clan who took the crystal of the world soon discovered that the other party was abnormal. The black power used by the man in black actually carried a desperate emotion, as if the whole world was about to be destroyed. This power. Are you from the Destruction clan outside the domain? The little ghost of the Guardian clan who took the crystal of the world seemed to think of a terrifying legend of the family. Impossible. Haven't you been driven out of the dragon continent a long time ago? I didn't expect that you could actually have some knowledge and know that I'm from the Destruction clan outside the domain. The man in black was slightly surprised. Damn it, what should I do now? The Guardian clan's ghost who had seized the world crystal regretted taking it. The world crystal hopes you can lend me a hand. Once you fall into the hands of the Destroyer clan, I'm afraid the entire dragon continent will be destroyed. Perhaps because of the Guardian clan's ghost's words, the colorful world crystal once again shone with colorful light, instantly isolating the endless destructive energy from the ghost. It's really a clan favored by the world, and it can control the power of the world so easily. The guy from the Destroyer clan in black looked at the Guardian clan's ghost with interest. What a terrifying destructive power. The Guardian clan's ghost felt the breath of the other side and was terrified for no reason. The Destroyer clan is indeed the Destroyer clan. It is said that the purpose of your Destroyer clan is to destroy the entire world and rebuild a new order. All races between heaven and earth must act according to your rules. Otherwise, you will destroy the entire world. The Guardian clan's ghost had a sarcastic expression on his face. Little guy, you are really interesting. Since you know the rules of my Destruction clan, why don't you hand over the world crystal obediently? A strange light flashed in the eyes of the black-clothed Destruction clan. The reality of the Destruction clan must be prepared to bear the consequences. The little guy from the Guardian clan said leisurely, and his expression revealed the vicissitudes of life. I can't even remember how many lives this is. The only thing I remember is to destroy your Destruction clan. What is strange is that after hearing the other party admit his identity, the little guy from the Guardian clan was not panicked at all, but was confident, and looked like he was going to kill the Destruction clan. This made the black-clothed man from the Destruction clan puzzled. It seems like this. I finally figured out your identity. The black-clothed man of the Destruction Clan's eyes suddenly became very sharp, and he laughed up to the sky. How can you be a Guardian Clan? You are clearly a world elf. I didn't expect that this small evil dragon continent has already developed its own will. As long as I destroy you, the entire evil dragon continent will be destroyed, and I will get enough destructive power to directly achieve the status of a god. As he spoke, endless destructive power surged over, and the whole world seemed to fall into chaos, a dark patch, as if it was going to swallow up all the light. Feeling the crazy surge of destructive power, the face of the little guy of the Guardian Clan in black turned extremely pale. Chapter 623, World Spirit. You guys from the Destruction Clan are really annoying. If I hadn't reincarnated so many times, I would have killed you directly, extracted your soul, and demoted you to the 9th overworld, where you would never be able to turn over. It's just the world spirit of a small world. Let's see who will make who never turn over. The black-clothed man from the Destruction Clan interrupted the other party violently. The aura of destruction on his body emerged like a lotus, as if he had instantly entered the endless purgatory, condensing a black cloud of several acres in size. Above the black cloud, a demon looked down at all living beings, roared, and suddenly shook the earth. Okay, even if I give up this body today, I will never let you succeed. In an instant, the void on all sides was blocked by a very mysterious aura. How can it be so strong? Although you are the world spirit and have been reincarnated, it is absolutely impossible for you to have such a powerful force. The black-clothed man from the Destruction Clan was in a state of shock and his face suddenly changed. The power of the origin of the world burst out 5 or 6 times in an instant. This power has reached the power of the lower gods. Even if he were to face the dragon god of justice, he would not be powerless to fight back. According to common sense, this situation would never happen to the reincarnated world spirit, unless he once again controlled the world power of the entire world. In fact, everyone has misunderstood. It's not that I can't control the world power, but that my body after reincarnation can't bear the world power. That's why I want to get my companion crystal core again. With it, I can control the world power by controlling the half-life crystal core. The young world spirit said indifferently. To be honest, in order to be able to reincarnate as a human, he has paid a great price. And now the people of the Destruction Clan actually want to destroy him and his world. Since the spirit of the world had consciousness, he longed for freedom, but as the spirit of the world, he could not leave the core of the world at all. In the end, he thought of reincarnation, split his soul, and injected it into the body of the human race, and that body was the reincarnation of the first life. Because he could use the power of the world, he was considered by others to be a person favored by the world. Perhaps because of his incomplete soul, he seemed to be cursed in every life. Even if he reached the realm of gods, he could only exist for 500 years. After 500 years, he chose to reincarnate again, and reincarnate as his descendant. However, no one knew about this except himself. It was only known that after many years, one of their descendants would appear, who was very compatible with the power of the world, and this person must be able to reach the realm of gods. Suddenly, there was a bang. The crystal of the world had flown to the forehead of the young spirit of the world at some point, and then you saw his sky gate open, and countless world powers bloomed through the crystal of the world. For a moment, the entire dragon continent was filled with a solemn atmosphere, as if the world was about to end. Damn it, what on earth happened? Why do I feel so scared? It seems that the whole world is angry. Is this the legendary wrath of the world? Sakadin said in disbelief. Could it be that this world has produced a world spirit? If so, it would be amazing. World spirit? Yunfan was puzzled. Legend has it that there are some very special planes of the world. Due to certain special circumstances, the world will produce a special consciousness, and that consciousness is the legendary world spirit. A world with this world spirit can be said to have infinite possibilities. This world can evolve, but is it possible? Even the god's continent does not have a world spirit. If this world really has a world spirit, even the god king who controls thousands of worlds will definitely do everything possible to obtain it and refine it into his own kingdom of god, because once this world grows up, he may directly become the god of creation. Sakuden said excitedly, if this world really has a world spirit, you must become the master of this world. It depends on the situation. It's not easy to become the master of this world. I'm not sure I can compete with the two guys, the dragon god of justice and the dragon god of evil. The guy from the Guardian clan got the world crystal and then triggered the world's wrath. Could it be that the little guy from the Guardian clan has something to do with the world's wrath? Sakuden frowned and said, forget it, don't think too much, or find a way to find the little guy who took the world crystal. I didn't want to wade into this muddy water. Yunfan's face showed a complicated expression. Yunfan said a few words to Sophia and others around him, asking them to go back and wait for him, and then he went in the direction where the young man from the Guardian clan left. At this time, the reincarnation of the world spirit had completely changed. Only countless world forces rushed out from his head, just like 1,000 horses galloping, and the earth and the sky seemed to be crushed in an instant. And the world crystal and this reincarnation body seemed to be connected together in an instant. They were originally born from the same source and cooperated with each other. When connected, they also complemented each other. This is by no means as simple as 1 + 1. What a world spirit. After seeing this, the black-clothed man of the Destruction clan did not move, allowing the world power to block him, and muttered to himself, I have followed the adults to travel through several world planes, but this is the first time I have encountered a world spirit. Before I reincarnated, I heard about the notoriety of your Destruction clan. You are the source of evil in the heavens and the worlds, and you use destruction as the source of your power. The power of the reincarnated body of the world spirit was increasing bit by bit, which contained the violent power of the origin of the world. This power was about to exceed the limit of his body, and was very harmful to the human body. After using this power, I'm afraid that the body of this reincarnated body would also collapse. I originally planned to wait for a while, before dealing with the so-called Justice Dragon God and the Evil Dragon God. I didn't expect you to pop up. Forget it. I will deal with you first in this life, and wait for my next reincarnation, to deal with the Justice Dragon God and the Evil Dragon God. The reincarnated body said viciously. As the world spirit, he naturally knew what the Justice Dragon God and the Evil Dragon God had done in his world. Chapter 624 The Shocking Truth. In order to improve his own strength, the Dragon God of Justice enslaved the human race of the entire continent and even carved sacrificial runes on them. It can be said that the Dragon God of Justice's actions have touched his bottom line. The better the world develops, the more benefits he will get as the spirit of the world. The actions of the Dragon God of Justice and the Evil Dragon God have seriously hindered the development of the continent. I didn't expect you to have such means. I'm afraid that after this battle, your body will collapse. The black-clothed man of the Destruction clan said lightly. What if my body collapses? As long as this world does not perish, I will not die. The reincarnation of the world spirit said fiercely, it's only a dozen years. To be honest, if he could choose, he really didn't want this body to collapse. In this case, let's see the truth. The Destruction God realm is coming. The guys of the Destruction clan have different ways of cultivation from ordinary people. They don't need to condense the kingdom of God to become gods. As long as they accumulate enough destructive energy and improve the quality of the destructive energy, they can achieve the position of the god of destruction. So many people choose to embark on the path of destruction because of their talents. The black-clad man of the Destruction clan suddenly shouted, and a series of destructive auras came over like a mountain and sea, pressing forward. Not only did it cover the reincarnation of the world spirit, but even the area within a radius of hundreds of miles was covered by the destructive aura. Damn, what happened? What is this overwhelming black aura? Countless emblem warriors within a radius of 100 miles were terrified after seeing the black aura spread. The sky and the ground were filled with extremely dark destructive auras. The whole world seemed to be trapped in oppression, especially the black destructive aura, which conveyed an endless sense of destruction. At this time, including Harrington Elvis and Priestly Rachel, their faces changed drastically. They were all strong men at the peak level of demigods. When this black aura hit them, they actually felt extremely terrified, as if they had encountered a natural enemy. The ordinary destructive aura was already extremely terrifying, and the strength of this black-clad man had obviously reached the god level, and the destructive aura had also reached the second level destructive aura, which could be said to be at the same level as the divine power of the gods. Many demigod level warriors could not help but fly towards the direction where the breath came from. However, when everyone arrived at the battle site, they could not help but gasp. The battle between the two was so tragic that it was not an exaggeration to describe it as the collapse of the sky and the cracking of the earth. There was no intact land within a radius of dozens of miles. The Destruction Clan, which exuded a terrifying aura, was like a devil. Everything around him was corroded by the black aura. How did these two people suddenly appear on this continent? Everyone says that I'm the most powerful existence besides His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. These two people fighting are actually stronger than me. What a joke. Harrington Elvis's face was already a little ferocious. He couldn't help but cast his eyes on the black robe, who took the world crystal from him. This guy was not very old, only about 20 or 30 years old, but the aura on him was so deep, as if he was facing His Majesty the Dragon God of Justice. Are they both gods? A terrible thought emerged in everyone's mind. But is this possible? Aren't there only two gods in the entire continent, the god of justice and the god of evil? Where did such a young god come from? And that guy with black hair all over his body. The battle between the two was so terrifying, and every move and every style carried a powerful divine power and the will of destruction. I really underestimated you, world spirit. The black-clothed god of destruction said coldly. The overwhelming aura of destruction pressed hard on the world crystal, as if it wanted to directly explode and crush the essence condensed from the evil dragon world. Facing such a powerful offensive, the reincarnation of the world spirit didn't seem to care at all, and madly operated the power of the world. The powerful force was constantly impacting, which was simply irresistible and there was no way to resist. Of course, only the reincarnation of the world spirit could use such an attack move that hurt the enemy 1000 and hurt himself 800. If it were any ordinary demigod, even a powerful being like Pope Harrington Elvis, they would not dare to squander their power like this. Once they did so, their bodies would collapse directly after exerting their power. Even if they did not die, they would exhaust all their potential and would not be able to improve. The reincarnation of the world spirit was different. He did not know how many reincarnations he had gone through. Even if this body collapsed, he could reincarnate again. As long as this world did not perish, he would never die. However, even if he reincarnated again after the collapse of his flesh mountain, there would probably be other significant effects, which only the world spirit knew. The people present were getting more and more frightened, and many of them were even wavering in the airwaves of the two people's confrontation. They could not imagine how strong the impact of the two people in the battle was. One was a god of the Destruction Clan, who was determined to destroy everything, and the other was the world spirit, representing the entire world. As for the demigods, who had just arrived, they did not take them seriously, and crushed them to death at will. The demigods refined their own weapons, and they were cautious, and treading on thin ice. For the first time, they felt their own insignificance. They had always been respected, and could dominate the fate of others, but now, just being affected by the fighting force made them terrified. The huge airwaves kept impacting, and also invaded the defenses of many demigod-level strongmen. Yunfan had already arrived at the battle site at this moment. Feeling the breath of the gods of the Destruction Clan, he couldn't help but frown deeply. It turned out to be the gods of the Destruction Clan. Is this guy a native of the evil dragon world, or is he from another world like him? The impact of the battle between the two was too great. There was no way. The demigods present had to resist with all their strength, wave after wave of invasion. Many demigod-level strongmen had already wanted to escape at this moment, but their domains were completely useless, and they even lost the ability to fly. With endless panic, they had fallen into the mortal world. In the battle domain of the gods, how could they support their domains? There is an essential difference between the realm of demigods and the realm of gods. Chapter 625 Watching Tigers Fight. Is this the power of the gods? It is so terrifying. When will I have such power? Harrington Elvis was filled with an unprecedented desire for power. At this time, Harrington Elvis tried to activate the artifact scepter several times, but no matter how he activated it, the scepter seemed to be frozen in the void, stuck in the quagmire, unable to extricate himself, and could not be used at all. Even if he condensed his own power, he would be completely corroded and destroyed as soon as he came into contact with the black gas. Priestly Rachel had also lost his previous composure. He found that the power of space could not be used here. Even when he wanted to use his own power, his mind seemed to explode. The demigods were terrified and wanted to escape from here. However, when they looked around, they found that the black gas was everywhere around them, pressing in everywhere, penetrating into their minds like a spirit snake. Destroy the whole world. You will get infinite power. This world is already corrupt. Only by destroying it can you get eternal life. Countless thoughts of destroying the world rang in their hearts. The demigods present felt that there was a terrible power that was tempting them all the time to destroy the whole world and kill everyone in this world. Many guys below the demigod level had been eroded by the aura of destruction. Their minds fell into chaos. They raised their weapons and attacked the people around them. The whole scene fell into extreme chaos. In just over 10 minutes, many people had died. The difference between these people and the gods of the destruction clan was too great. Fortunately, I had asked the other people in the team to go back early. Otherwise, if they were eroded by this aura of destruction, I really don't know what to do. Looking at the crowd killing each other, Yunfan muttered with lingering fear. Sakon, what do you think I should do? Both of them are strong. Wait a minute, it's best not to take the initiative. See the result of their fight. Sakadin's voice became a little serious, although I'm very confident in your strength. Okay, I know what you mean. To be honest, I'm not sure that I can get the world essence from them, Yunfan said in a flat tone. Yunfan didn't know at this time that the guy who got the world crystal was the world-renowned reincarnation. Even if the world crystal was taken from him, if the world spirit didn't recognize it, he couldn't control the world. But seriously, is this guardian clan really that powerful? That guy is only at level 6 or 7. With the blessing of the world crystal, he can actually burst out the power of the gods. But I got the world crystal, and it was so troublesome to even refine it. If I had the same opportunity as him earlier, how could I come here? Yunfan said with a slight curl of his lips. Don't be so ungrateful here, kid. Have you suffered a loss by coming here? If you hadn't come here, how could you have obtained the Dragon Ball? It is on the same level as the artifact of creation. Although it is not of much use to you now, I believe that it won't be long before you can exert its full strength. Sakon couldn't help but roll his eyes. Besides, the crystal of the world might fall into your hands. At that time, as long as you get the recognition of the spirit of the world, you will have a world that can evolve. At this time, the god of the destruction clan had also shown his true ability. A mighty aura of destruction emerged from his body. The aura of destruction had turned into materialized water, and the black water changed again to form black bubbles. These bubbles were like mud in a swamp, which made people sick to look at, but its effect was beyond imagination, as if it could corrode everything. The bubbles composed of these destructive auras rushed into the world power of the world spirit. Once in contact with the world power, the protective shields composed of the world power were immediately corroded. They were no longer colorful, but were stained with large patches of stains, riddled with holes. It was like a large piece of filth was splashed on the white snow, making people feel uncomfortable. What kind of trick is this? Why is it so disgusting? Yunfan watched from a distance as the gods of the destruction clan used one move to corrode and pollute the opponent's world power. He thought it was really powerful. You know, he is also using the world power now. This situation can prove that the opponent's destruction clan also has the ability to corrode his own world power. Although he has seen many destruction clan, this is the first time he has seen a destruction clan that can pollute and corrode the world power. I really don't know what this trick is, because on the gods continent, the gods of the destruction clan have long been extinct. I really don't know where this came from. But in the war a million years ago, in order to kill the destruction clan's immortal legion, the gods continent lost half of its members. That era can be said to be the twilight of the gods. It was because of that war that the gods established new rules. Anyone who encounters the destruction clan can kill them. I feel that the power is weakening little by little without you. The gods of the Destruction Clan said in a flat tone. No wonder everyone can kill you. The Destruction Clan, your power is really too evil. The old era is about to pass, and the new era is about to come. Only when the world is destroyed, can a new life be ushered in. The gods of the Destruction Clan said with an evil smile. What will happen after the new world arrives? Will you destroy it again, if it does not conform to the world in your mind? The reincarnation of the world spirit asked loudly. That's right. Destruction and creation? Yunfan couldn't help but frowned, feeling very uncomfortable in his heart. Suddenly, an idea appeared in his mind, and he hurriedly drove the idea out of his mind. What's wrong with you? Why did your face suddenly become so ugly? Sakuden noticed that Yunfan's face suddenly changed, and couldn't help but ask. Nothing, maybe I'm just imagining it, but if it's really like what I imagined, it's really terrible. Yunfan responded. Don't speak half of your words, tell me what you think. Sakuden said with some gossip. Let me see how much reason you have in your thoughts. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.